Warning. You are entering Open Lines Friday. For today anything goes. Thank you for your cooperation.
Listos pelos chingazos. Listos pelos chingazos.
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
All right, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the boxing debate arena. It's Friday, so you know what time it is. Open Lines Friday. Anybody can join. Everybody should join. Link in the description, and I'll be posting the link in the chat. We're going to keep it to maybe 8 people at a time, and we can rotate because I've seen some complaints about how there's too many people sometimes and too much shouting, and I completely agree with that. So we're going to try to keep it somewhat civilized with a certain amount of people that can join the panel at a time. All right. So right now I'm on the voice channel on Open Lines Friday. We have Don Madrazos and official boxing scorecard. Guys, can you hear me? And welcome to the show.
I can hear you.
All right. Perfect. So we're live. And again, people in the chat. Oh, by the way, let me just read a super chat from Michael Poe. Thank you for your contribution, always supporting the show. He says, best boxing channel ever. Mr. BDA, King Bucho are great. Thank you, Michael. Man, really appreciate it. And you should actually try to jump on, man. It's been a while since we have talked to you. All right, guys, let's talk boxing. Shakur Stevenson is fighting tomorrow. From what I've been seeing, reading, he shouldn't have any problems tomorrow night. First fight at 135. If he wins this fight, he becomes a mandatory challenger for the winner of the Vasily Lomachenko Devin Haney fight. So is Shakur Stevenson the real deal, guys?
I got a question for that about that, and maybe it was answered last time we had this chat, but since he didn't, Shakur lost a belt, right? Because he didn't make weight. Was that what happened?
That's right.
Yes.
Shakur lost a belt because he didn't make weight with Constantine.
Yeah, at 130.
Exact.
Yes.
So I had a question though. So if he wins this fight, this fight at 135. And he's coming in without a strap at 130. How does he qualify for that undisputed matchup? I don't get that.
Me neither. I don't know. I don't know the rules. Would he become the number one challenger on the WBC? I think that's what it is.
But with no, I mean, I get it. I would understand if you were a champion, you had a belt or something, you had multiple belts at a weight class and you're moving up. I would understand like Usyk. Usyk didn't even get a shot right away. He had to fight. What did he fight? Chad Witherspoon and Chisora. He didn't even get an immediate shot. So I don't understand why Shakur with no straps can all of a sudden get a chance after fighting one
the
guy.
WBO, I think that if you're a WBO champion and you move up in weight, you can immediately get a title shot for the WBO.
Well, you understand the disparity here, right? You understand what's going on. Like
I do.
Shot right away,
but I'm not surprised.
And he was undisputed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Who's in here? We have Never Sober and Official. What do you think about Shakur getting a title shot? Well, if he wins this fight.
I'll tell you in due time. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, well, it's a boxing alphabet organization's business as usual. I mean, I don't understand it neither how it functions, but they're messing around with.
I mean,
they have their preferences. But
then again, I mean, Lomachenko did get a title shot in his second professional fight. Was it?
Yeah, and that's the same thing. Preferential treatment from a powerful promoter.
Exactly. So I'm not surprised, and it's a fight I'd like to see, anyways. Right. So.
I mean, I would like to see it as well. I'm just wondering what the politics are behind this whole thing, and who's Shakur with? Is he with Bob Arum?
Yeah.
He's with Prince. What's that dude's name? Jay Prince, ain't he?
Yeah, but Jay Prince is his manager. While Bob Arum is his promoter.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, but
so there's a little bit of fuckery going on with this. Then.
Of course, and I never tried to figure this out. Like I don't even understand how the sanctioning bodies work. I never even tried to figure it out because they don't have any rules. We know this. Like all of a sudden, a fighter pops up. He's number 3. You go like, what the fuck? So and I'm not gonna go on the internet and try to figure out like, well, how they have no explanation. I mean, they've confronted Suleiman about the rankings and. Well, he doesn't even have an answer. He just bullshits on the spot. And I remember at some point, they had Amir Khan at number 5 or something, and everybody was complaining. No, number 1, sorry, in the welterweight division after having had some losses. Yeah, nobody cares. I mean, nobody cares. It says they don't have an answer.
Wilder up to number 1 or something.
Yeah, they don't have fucking answers. There's no rules.
And it's not that it's not that I don't like Shakur Stevens. I think the guy boxes beautifully. I think the guy has tremendous skill, and he's one of the best 130s I've seen in a long time. I think since Loma was in the division. So I think he's one of those talents, and he's a young guy too. So I love seeing the guy fight. I'm just wondering how the politics works, and when I criticize this motion of him fighting for the undisputed after one fight, I'm not criticizing the fighter himself or his abilities. I'm criticizing the sport. I'm criticizing the way the sport is run. I would love to have better understanding, more transparency about what's going on with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Hey, Bucho.
They can't give that to us, bro, because then we'd be in all the bullshit, and then the fans would be outraged already more than they are.
Let me get my take on this, because explain the real deal. Because to me, let me ask y'all this: do y'all consider Erislandy Lara the real deal, quote unquote, the real deal? The question.
Yeah, he's good.
I thought with Lara, yeah, he was good, but he wasn't. To me, he was good. He was a good defensive guy, but to me, he was a bit one-dimensional. He wasn't a special fighter. That's how I see Shakur. I see him as a good defensive guy. Mm-hmm. A guy that will give a Pacific style a lot of trouble. But to me, he's not gonna be special. Like, I'm comparing him to Americans. So Mayweather and Ward. I don't think Shakur will be like that. Look, Mayweather at 25. He was already surpassed Shakur, so forget about it. As far as Ward goes, I don't think Shakur will ever compete with someone like Kovalev, right? I don't think Shakur will ever move up and fight someone like Kovalev and beat him. I don't think that will ever happen. I could be wrong. I just don't see it.
So
I think with Shakur, he's obviously.
So you're saying moving up to what would be the equivalent? what would be the equivalent of a Kovalev for Shakur? You mean at welterweight or?
No, not Walter. More so, I think.
Like a heavy hitter. I know what he's saying. I know exactly what he's saying. Like if Shakur were to move up and fight someone dangerous at 140 one day or something like that, like, we all know Shakur doesn't have the power to put guys away, which is kind of makes me a little weary about him moving up further than 135. But the guy's got.
Matias is the perfect example, I would say. I think Kovalev was better than Matias, but still, it's like someone feared a heavy power.
Yeah.
Shakur doesn't beat him.
If you guys watch Matias, everybody who fights him comes to fight, like bang with him.
But watch the Dadashев fight. He was showing how to cut off the ring in that fight. Matias is a pretty good ring cutter fight against Dadashев. Look, my point is with Shakur. Look, he's very skilled at what he does, right? That's why I compare him to Lara and Rigondeaux. Was Rigo and Lara, they were great defensive guys, but that's pretty much it.
Which
that's why Mayweather. The difference with Mayweather and Ward is if they need to turn it up, they're gonna turn it the fuck up. They know how to fight in the inside. They're more than this one-dimensional defensive guys. I don't see Hayne like
95.
I got a rebuttal to that, Bucho.
All right.
I have to say it too, Bucho. Sorry. Yes. So, Shakur Stevenson, I agree. We haven't seen him fight on the inside a lot. But trust me, I'm preparing a video. That's the next video that's going to be on BDA. It's about his inside fighting. And I'm telling right there in the video that people who think that he doesn't know how to fight on the inside are in for a bad surprise, because he's a very well-schooled inside fighter. Now, it's preferable for him to fight on the outside because it's easier for him not to get hit there. And plus, he's not a big puncher, while his opponents may be strong punchers. So that's why he tries to evade fighting on the inside, but he can do it.
Hey,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, let me respond to that real quick. So, yeah, like this guy just said, Shakur can definitely fight on the inside. He can do everything in the ring. He's as complete as a fighter as there is in the sport.
Okay,
the only thing that he doesn't have is knockout power. But outside of that, every skill, every nook and cranny, he has all of it.
I agree with you on that one for sure.
You said the same thing this fool said, but just worse.
But relative
he's not. I don't think he's a one-dimensional fighter at all myself. I think he's got great timing. He's got great speed. He's got great footwork. There's a lot more to Shakur Stevens than just being an outside fighter. I think we don't know how his chin is because we haven't seen him be tested yet. But I think he will rise to the occasion. I think he's got the tools.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of
Devin Haney.
When I say
he's way better than Devin Haney. He's way better than Devin Haney.
I think he beats Haney. I think he beats Haney.
Oh, I know.
Let me give you one important weakness that Shakur Stevenson has, and pay attention to it in the future fights. He can be hurt very well if his opponents ignore his setup punches, if they try to counter him over his setup punches, because it's not so he's quick, not as easy to get to be timed, but he can be timed, and he was timed in the past. So because he likes always before his rear hand, he likes those setup punches. And many times the opponents who didn't give him respect.
I've never seen him really fight on the inside. Maybe he can a bit, but it's almost like relative to his competition, long gone. I don't see it at all.
This is gonna sound crazy to y'all, but these guys, these young guys at 130 to 135 up to 140, they have a chance to surpass Mayweather's and a lot of guys because there's a lot of talent.
Because Mayweather was already beating a lot of guys at 135. At 140, a lot of guys. And you went 25 years old. Shakur, 25 years old, hasn't really been a Hall of Famer yet.
I know, but all I'm saying is
Mayweather did. Mayweather did. So
okay.
I just don't think you're right in that aspect. No, I feel like you're talking a lot of nonsense. You're talking a lot of nonsense.
I'm just saying potential. So let me finish, please.
No. There is no potential because these guys don't move this like Mayweather. Mayweather
let the guy fucking finish at that age. Let him finish.
Well, some people think Mayweather's perfect, so I guess it depends who you ask. So this is all I think. But let me finish my point. Look, there's so much talent at 130 to 140. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, Murray Tyler.
Tank Davis is 28.
If you can run
28 years
most
old.
of these guys, you would have a pretty crazy.
Bro, let somebody talk.
28 years old. Gervonta Tank Davis, 28 years old. His biggest fights against Ryan. Ryan's not even that fucking good either. Can't compare that shit to Mayweather.
Like 7 more years. Like he can still.
No, but Mayweather was at 28. He wasn't fucking fighting on Ryan Garcia. Are you kidding me? Ryan's a fucking prospect, man.
Well, I'm talking about Shakur more specifically, not Tank Davis.
Well, then why the fuck you naming Tank then?
Because I'm saying Tank is.
You're saying what? I mean, look, you said all these young guys have potential to beat Mayweather. Then you
ask me a
Tank.
question and just interrupt.
Fuck a lot of fucking nonsense, man. You know what you're talking about. Fuck out of here, man. Hey, yo, someone debate me. That's better because this guy is easy ass work.
You know what? I agree.
Cornball.
Come on, guys.
It's easy work, bro. Yeah.
That'll be easy work. Okay. You know, Rare Breed, go. Rare Breed, go then. Go.
I wasn't even talking about Tank. Like, what's wrong with you, bro?
It was me who was talking about
this afternoon. Like, it's Friday.
Rare Breed, man.
I actually agree with you.
Fighters with potential when he brings up Tank's name.
Both
and I go against, and he says, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that."
I'm saying Shakur. Shakur's in a better era. Shakur's in a better era.
I think you guys. I think both of you guys make some valid points. Both of you guys just on one hand,
points at all. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen one point he made that was valid. What did he say that was valid?
How would you know, motherfucker? Keep interrupting me.
Hey, chill out with the cuss words, bro.
Like, damn.
Don't need to cuss. Chill out, man. It ain't that serious.
Emotional.
I'm not the one cussing.
Anyways.
Hey, man, you think somebody dead here? You trying to censor somebody?
Anyways, Rare Breed, go on.
Anyway, I'm saying that Shakur is in a more talented era than what Andre Ward had to work with, so he has a chance to have a better resume than Andre Ward.
No, he isn't. I don't agree with that at all. A more talented era? No. There's nobody at 135, 140 that the same skill set and talent that Kovalev had. No way in hell. Who? Tank? Ryan? Man, fuck out of here, dude. The closest guy is Matias.
Watch your cuss word. Watch your language.
You know what? The thing about me is,
watch your language.
Hey, when I cuss, I'm not cussing at him. I'm cussing,
Blow your nose and watch your language.
When did Kovalev become this super all-time great fighter?
I never said he was an all-time great fighter. All I said was he's more talented and he's more skilled than anybody at 135 to 140. That's all I said. Stop putting words in my mouth.
That's an opinion, but whatever.
Yeah, hey, I told you. I never said all-time great. I said what I said. So stop putting words in my mouth. Okay? Okay.
All right. So,
Rare Breed, still waiting for a good point, Rare Breed. I haven't got it yet. Still waiting.
Anyways.
Yeah, let's go.
What I'm saying if you can get at least 4 or 5 of those names in this around these weight classes, you'll have a better resume than what Andre Ward had. Some people don't think Andre Ward had a good resume. Outside of Kovalev, what's his best win?
Some people? We mean some people. Carl Froch is better than Carl Froch win is better than what most of these young guys at 135, 140 have. I'll tell you that.
Look at all these dudes that are coming up. You got Abdullah Mason, Mara Tyler.
Are you gonna rebuttal what I said? Carl Froch is a better name than what most of these young guys at 135, 140 have. Are you gonna rebuttal that?
The
only guy I can think of,
he was like 37.
Is Tio. That's it. Because Tio beat Loma. That's probably the only guy I can think of. Maybe you can make the argument with Shakur, even though I would favor the Carl Froch win over Oscar Valdez, but rebuttal that though, because I said Carl Froch is better than anybody these guys have on their resume. Rebuttal that.
So
I'm waiting.
If you said Tio had a better win than Loma win is better than Kovalev win, right?
Close. It's close.
I would say Loma's more talented than Kovalev. I think everybody would agree to that.
Yeah, but Ward stopped Kovalev where Teo got a close win over Loma. You know what I'm saying? So you got to factor that in too.
Well, also you got to factor in Loma is a harder fight than some people will argue it's a harder
And
fight.
then
I don't even know why we're
Loma
like
was
comparing
smaller.
it's
Loma was a smaller guy that night, where Ward was a smaller guy.
I don't know why people give Teo such credit when he beat Lomo. He was like 15 pounds heavier than Lomo that night.
Yeah, but that's not the argument with this guy.
That's Loma's decision to go fight.
Not resume, right? And Rare Breed is having a hard time debating this right now. So
what are we even debating?
Like I said, hold on, bro. Carl Froch is a better name than most of these guys at 135, 140 have. These young guys. Carl Froch is a better name than fucking Oscar Valdez, right? Better name than anybody Haney has. Maybe make the argument for Linares, even though he was kind of older now. Maybe. But it's almost like, what are we doing here, man?
If Shakur beats Tank Davis, that's a better name than Carl Froch.
But you're going about what ifs, you know? What if this? What if that?
Or Devin Haney. You know? Either one of those.
And then you got to say a what if for Tank, right? If Shakur beats Tank, that's Shakur's best win. And that's debatable with Andre Ward's second best win. You know, that's the type of level we're at right now. And I just don't think you know what the hell you're talking about. Honestly and respectfully. You have no clue what you're talking about, because every rebuttal you've made to me, you've lost. Every point you've made, you lost. So as far as I know, you better kick rocks, because this shit's too easy.
I don't know when it became a debate. I don't really care.
It's always a debate with me.
All right. Let's get some other people. Let's get some other people in here. Jim, let's get other people in here, guys. Let's get other people in here. Let's get other people in here. It's getting out of control. Out of control.
Why are you so emotional, dude?
All right, we need somebody else to jump in here. Jimmy, let's have the voice of reason here. Jimmy.
Jimmy. A lot of people.
What's going on, brother?
Jimmy.
Welcome.
I'm just saying.
What's going on, buddies?
Step in.
What up?
It's getting stupid early on.
What are we?
What are you upset about? It's Friday. Chill out.
I just got on Bucho. What's happening? What are we? What's everybody arguing about?
We're talking about Shakur Stevenson. How good is he?
Not arguing about shit.
Well, I just hear people saying like calm down or whatnot. So I'm assuming arguing. Shakur Stevenson is a talented kid. He is. I might piss people off, but he's a much better fighter. Personally, I believe than Devin Haney. I mean, he's got a much better jab. He controls distance. I know he punched the shit out of that kid's nuts. I know a lot of people don't like him. I'm just giving, fucking my honest answer. I think he's a talented dude. Listen, there's a reason he missed weight. There's a reason he was hanging around at 130, because he knows, every fighter knows this, every time you go up, you're fighting bigger dudes. So he wasn't an overly powerful puncher at 130. He's going to be fighting bigger guys. Will he be as dominant 135 as he is 130? That's the question, right? I mean, that's it. And then it's a whole other animal at 140. There's some big punching motherfuckers up there. So I think it'll be a while before he brings his butt up there. I mean, anybody would be, not willing to run up there too quick. But yeah, so pretty much that's it with that. I think, yeah, he's a talented kid. I mean, he's again, it's just a lack of power, and I think that might come back to haunt him, because he's going to have to try to keep the bigger guys off him. But he's got enough talent to make up for some of that stuff. But what's the
well, I'm hearing I don't know.
He's not respectable.
All time great.
He did put Conceição in the hospital. He did knock down Valdez, and Valdez said after the fight he's got good power, and he also stopped Jeremy Hammer.
Hey, Redbreed, you sound really low today. I don't know, something with your microphone.
I can't even hear. I didn't even know Redbreed was talking. I can't even hear him.
Yeah, you're very low, Redbreed. I don't know. You should fix that.
Is he an all-time great? I don't know yet. The time.
Exactly.
I mean, he fought Oscar Valdez. We'll see. Listen, we don't know if because he hasn't been hit yet. Casanto hit, but he hasn't been hit yet. Hasn't been tested.
Yeah, no one is saying he's an all-time great right now. But the thing is, they're already claiming that he will be an all-time great, and I'm not sure if he will. I mean, I'm on the fence on this one.
We don't know that.
They're gonna carry him all the way to the Hall of Fame. You know, you can already tell with his whole career.
It can happen. We've seen this happen. Yeah,
it's gonna be hard to be for anybody to get carried around these weight. It's too much talent in these weight classes for you to get carried. You might have to do it eventually.
The guy hasn't been tested, and I think to the other caller's point, which he made just one point out of all the nonsense he was saying, was that he hasn't faced anyone really powerful and with talent. Now you face somebody with power, with talent, and he takes one square hit in the jaw. We don't know if he's going to be able to withstand that. So we hasn't been tested with anybody that has remotely, even close to his skill yet.
We haven't seen him at 135 yet. We're gonna witness his first 135. We're gonna witness his first professional fight at 135 here.
I mean, listen, but rare breed. It's not a knock against you and your fighter. It's just physics. It's logic. We don't know yet. I mean, you could stand here and carry him on your shoulders and carry him to the Hall of Fame already, but we don't know shit yet, man.
And he's been able to look. You got to give a lot of that dominance to his. He was always the bigger guy, for the most part. He always was the bigger guy in there because he hung around 130 a long time. So this will tell us a lot about where his career trajectory will go. You know what I mean? This kid he's fighting now isn't a test, but that's not his fault. I mean, there's not anybody really. You can always tell a talented kid. I think personally, if you just look at how other fighters, do you see other fighters calling him out? That's the thing. You know what I mean? And I don't see a lot of people calling him out. So they know he's technically sound. But again, at 135, this will be the true testing ground going forward.
That kid who lost to Lomachenko called him out. Jermaine Ortiz?
Yeah, Ortiz, listen, that kid's no joke. Ortiz is a tough fucking kid.
Yeah, he wants that.
Me and BDA were going side by side, looking at just fucking movement. He is quicker than Haney. He's got quicker feet than Haney. Haney's all length. He does that step, but he also pulls his butt out as he's punching. Ortiz is actually quick. We were really breaking it down, looking at it. Ortiz, I'll tell you right now, if they were to fight, if the fight was scheduled next right now, Ortiz and Haney, that'd be a 50-50 as far as I'm concerned.
But the issue with Ortiz, he's one of those guys where he's close to the elite level, but he's just right below that level because he struggled with Joseph Adorno, almost got knocked out of that fight, and then against Lomachenko, he gassed out. So he
got stopped, or did that go to the? I thought that went to a decision, didn't it?
The Adorno?
No, with Lomachenko.
Oh no, yeah, it did go to decision, but he still got stopped at the end of the fight.
Yeah, and the one he got stopped. Well, he got put down. I know he got caught with a shot, but he got up when he shook it off.
Yeah,
and he fought good. A lot of dudes will go down and stuff. It just we'll see going forward. But that was also 2020. He went into camp with Lomachenko in 21. He got him. He was training 2 months of sparring. The whole camp. He was coming in and out, getting him ready for Lopez. And he even said he learned a lot. He knew when he walked in the doors in the gym and when he walked out, he knew his skill level grew. And take that into consideration. Which Loma was out for a year while that other shit going on, and he knew I've never seen anybody else be able to pivot. He was. Every time Loma does his, fucking patented pivot on people, this kid was pivoting before him. Exactly. So you could tell that was hours and hours of sparring him. So he knew what he was going to do.
But Jimmy, look, I'm not trying to downplay Ortiz. He's talented, but the real reason why it looked that way is because I've said it a million times. Lomachenko doesn't belong at 135. That's why almost every single fight he's had at 135 has been more competitive. When he was at 130 and 126, he dominated everybody.
No, you're making that's an excellent point. He is fighting in a class. Listen, his father didn't even want him to go to 135. I guess that was a big argument because he came in at 126. He went to 130. He's small frame, small. He's a smaller dude. So I mean, yeah, but like when people talk 140, his father said he wouldn't even train him. But yeah, 135, he's fighting. But he's in the Pacquiao thing because when he was at 130, like nobody was going to fight him. Nobody would call him out. They were offering everybody 130 money. They wouldn't even return phone calls. So he had to do what he had to do. The only way he could get fights, he had to go up to 135. The way Pacquiao to go fight up at fucking welterweight in 140 to get people to fight him.
Yeah. The difference is Pacquiao had crazy power. So he could.
Hey, Rebbe, you have to fix your mic, man. It's still kind of low.
Yeah, it's still very low. But Lomachenko does other things better than Pacquiao. Pacquiao's got great power. Pacquiao's got something that very few fighters ever have: the ability to punch. Like when you pop, you're on your toes. You come down. I'm probably only seen a handful of dudes who are able to crack the second they land. They don't even have to get us. It's just the way he would just pop in, but he would use it all in one motion and still like throw a punch before you expect a fighter to throw it. Like you're sparring people, you get used to when people are gonna put something on a punch. And the way he's able to punch on the hop, like the second his feet come back down, bang, his hand's going. It's incredible. Like it's big calves. That's what he's got. Pacquiao's got big ass calves, and that's why he's able to do that. But yeah, that's what's always been his fucking thing, his niche.
In the chat, Mark T says Shakur Stevenson is Crawford, but without the power. Very interesting comment.
No, Crawford is a more fluid fighter. He's more athletic, but I think what Shakur has is he's more compact. Maybe the comparison, I don't mind the comparison too much. More or less, yeah, they're about the same. But I think Crawford's superior, and not only
I agree.
Skill set as well.
I would say Crawford's fucking ability to go left to right. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. You go. But yeah, I'd say his ability to just switch fucking so effortlessly, smoothly from left to right, that's impressive. And the fact that he's stopping everybody. He's fighting.
Yep. 100% agree.
Yo. Can you guys hear me?
Mr. BDA.
Hello. Happy Good Friday to everybody. I just want to chime in on this Shakur Stevenson thing because he's fighting tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow is jam-packed. It's just all the major networks have fights. It's going to be, hopefully the main events don't interject. I mean, overlap. But in regards to Shakur Stevenson, look, whenever you have a young fighter, it's always difficult to gauge how good he's going to be. Because there's a bunch of factors. Forget about skill or talent. There's outside the ring factors like, maybe you marry the wrong woman, or maybe the guy becomes an alcoholic. You just never know. So it's interesting to speculate, but at the end of the day, it's very difficult. What I'm interested in here that I'd like to point out is something I haven't had a chance to touch on, which is the box office factor. This fight is taking place in New Jersey, I believe, which I think that's his home state. And apparently the sales have been good. Again, just like with the Conseil Sayo, I think that they've been able to fill in the arena more or less. Now, the problem is this going forward is ESPN, they clearly have an agenda. Like they're trying to target a certain demographic, but that specific demographic doesn't buy or doesn't watch a whole lot of boxing. I mean, they'll watch maybe the highlights on Twitter or whatever, but they want to actually watch the fight. So it's going to be interesting to see where Top Rank can take him because, and Steve Kim brought up this point in his latest column, there's a problem with, Top Rank is still the best at developing talent, as we've seen. But even they are falling victim to this new model of boxing where TV dates are very scarce. And last year, Shakur Stevenson only fought twice. If that's going to be the new model, I mean, how are you going to develop that guy as a star? That's number one, with the amount of time he's fighting. Number two, you guys already touched on that. He's not the most entertaining guy out there. And the fact that his last fight was just very sloppy, a lot of low blows. I don't see a lot of casuals enjoying that. Exactly. Now, the interesting thing is he's trying to appeal to the Puerto Rican side because his father's Puerto Rican. I think the father or mother, I forget which one. So they're clearly trying, and that's pissing off some Afro-Anglos on top of that.
Father's Pappy. It's his Pappy.
Father.
Yes, his father.
Well, the point is, that boy's Pappy.
Okay. It could alienate some people. It will alienate the already small base he has. So, I mean, that's to me, that's the more tangible thing that I wanted to focus on, like the box office appeal. You never know. Maybe not cutting weight is actually going to improve his punching power. But this whole thing, it's clear that what Top Rank is trying to do is they're trying to paint him as they're using the baseball model for him. You know how in baseball they talk about statistics? That's what they do with him. They can't show highlights really because he's not knocking people out. So they go with the statistics. They go, now he's the guy with this best defensive record, the best connect punch to punches avoided record, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's the way they're going to try to go. But I don't know how
watching, Mr. B, you're watching greatness. You are watching, you know when they tell you that? It's fucking annoying.
Well, my question is, how
far that can light up a room?
I mean, technically speaking, you is watching greatness, though. I mean, you know,
calm down.
With the smile that can light up a room.
Well, I mean, listen. That's the other thing. It could piss other people off because when I ask people why they hate Lomachenko or why they root against him, most of the time the answer is because he was overhyped. So if they're going to do the same to Shakur, that's another point that I want to bring up is that going to alienate? Because, boxing fans are fickle. They don't
they won't. No, it wasn't. The Lomachenko thing was a racial thing. Let's just be honest.
Well, might make people tune in to see him lose. So that's a good thing.
Because after he whooped that dude's ass, what's his name?
So I put it to you like this: if Shakur keep going the same route that he's been going, he's going to be great. If he keep calling people out and really taking these fights and really showing that he can really box,
What fights is he taking against this Japanese fella? Is that a big fight?
The Japanese fella did just.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Keep on taking these big fights? No,
I mean the dude is undefeated.
The Valdez fight.
He's an Asian Pacific champion. And then on top of that, he beat Oscar Valdez too.
You don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Bro, what you mean he beat Oscar Valdez and he also...
You said he keeps on taking these fights.
Bro, the dude is undefeated. Bro, he's 18 and old. Listen, what I'm trying to say. The guys he's fighting...
Answer my fucking question.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? So the guy he's fighting is essentially 18 and 0.
What fight is he taking? What fight is he taking? Don't name Japanese.
Let him answer your question.
You gotta let him finish his point.
You ruined the quality of the show. Let people finish.
Yeah, so what I was saying was the guy is he's fighting somebody who's 18. I'm gonna be honest, I never really heard it. I never really Bro, what's going on, bro? You good? Bro, like, can you let me talk, bro? Like, bro, this is a grown man party. Like, did this whole trying to call it a shit or something? Like, shut the fuck up. Now listen, I was trying to say, bro, like, the only thing I know about him is that he is undefeated and he is the Asia Pacific champion. So
undefeated. What does that mean, undefeated? What does that mean, undefeated?
Bro, I'm not saying that he's fighting this is the thing. I'm not saying that he's fighting a top tier person right now, but the guy has a good resume.
You said
he beat Nakatani. He beat, bro. Oh my god.
He'll be great.
I said Alright, go ahead. Oh man, bro. You know what, bro? Never mind.
95.
What do you mean? Y'all boys have a good night, man. I'm not doing this.
All right, 95. Let him answer the question. You asked the question. Chibi, please answer the question.
Oh, what I was saying is, and I'm not even saying that Yoshimo is like the best of all time because this is my first time hearing them too. But when I checked his resume, and he did beat Nakatani as well. I mean, he's a good fighter. But what I was only saying about Shakur Stevenson, if he keeps calling people out and be really serious and fighting good fights like how he fought Oscar Valdez, Sekio, and all them. What's up with this? Why is he trolling me? Like, what's going on?
Man. It's open. Hey, guy, it's open on Friday, man.
It's Friday, man. Come on.
It's Friday.
You guys gotta give a little extra energy when it's.
Okay, let me rebuttal that real quick.
Why do you don't?
If it keeps on taking these
why do you not like Shakur? Why don't you like Shakur? So why you don't like Shakur?
You said if it keeps on taking these type of fights,
so did he beat Oscar Valdez? Did he beat Oscar Valdez?
Let me talk, goddamn.
No. Did he beat Oscar Valdez? Yes or no?
He's bigger than Valdez.
Oh, now he's bigger than Valdez. They were the same fucking size. What are you talking about? He was chasing him. What are you talking about? Who's a cool face, bro?
Who is the Japanese fella?
Well, this Japanese guy got a better resume than you. So, like, I don't know what to tell you.
You said if it keeps on taking these type of fights,
what you so mad for, bro? Why you mad? Why you mad?
Japanese fella is. Yeah, no clue what we're talking about, fella.
His ass is drunk.
Respectfully, you said If he keeps on taking these type of fights, he'll be great.
Is this Kettlebell's big brother,
Who the
bro?
fuck is a Japanese guy? Who is he?
All right.
Who is he, bro?
All right. He's second.
To Mr. B.
Keep so fine. These
All right.
Japanese fellas will be great.
95. Hold on. Jimmy, go ahead.
Well, to Mr. BDA's point too about why Lomachenko got so much hate. I mean, it's crazy because if you think about it, right? I mean, we're talking about Shakur, but think about this: Shakur's at 19 fights. That's exactly what fucking if I'm not mistaken, that's exactly how many fights Lomachenko's had, and he was the fastest on his 8th fight. He won his 2nd world title at a different weight, Nicholas Walters. But look at the guys like Olito Salido, Russell, fucking, you know what I mean? Roman Martinez at the time. Roman Martinez was a fucking quality fighter. People were ducking his ass back then too. And then Sosa, Walters. That's what I'm saying. So like Mariaga. So like, I remember. So that's why it's a different. I'm just saying they moved Shakur a lot slower. Like Top Rank moved him a lot softer and a lot slower. Than they did
the reason why people don't like Lomachenko, you said it right earlier. It's a race thing because Lomachenko is amazing. I don't know why a lot of people don't like him.
Yeah, that's fucking cool that you like that dude, man.
No, it is.
Everybody, all those guys.
Let BDA.
Yeah, listen, Lomachenko, he's going to be fighting in May. We can get to that later. I want to stick to the Shakur Stevenson fight. Is how, like, because, they've got a good roster here, and apparently he's going to fight the winner of Lomachenko-Haney. Here's my problem, though. If let's say Haney wins, Bill Haney already said that fight is going to happen at 147, meaning the Shakur Stevenson Devin Haney fight. Why he just got to 135, Stevenson did. Now all of a sudden they're gonna wait till 147. It's like, what's going on? You guys make
that's a duck.
I think what they're doing though, it ain't no duck. I think it's more of a marination tactic. Let's marinate this for a minute, you know?
Yeah, marinate because they know it's gonna be a loss.
It's a duck. Let's wait until 147. Bullshit! It's a duck.
So you saying like it can't? So there's no possible way it could be a marination tactic that they're trying to build up that fight.
Hey, that's the problem with boxing right now.
Haney's on his way out of
boxing. Everything's over-marinated, man.
Haney's on the way out of 135, man. I mean, who knows how long it's a duck, man.
And then let me ask you something, Jimmy.
How long do you think he's going to last at
one? You're an idiot that's falling for it, too. You believe in bullshit.
So let me ask you something, Jimmy. Do you really think that that they should fight next, Shakur Stevenson and David Haney? You don't think they should wait a couple more years?
I'm going to be right. Would I want to see him fight next? Sure, of course I would. I'm a fight fan. I want to see the best fight the best. If I was training Haney, if he was my kid, no, I'd have him go right after. If he was to lose to Lomachenko, especially, he would go right to 140 because it would. They're going to blame it on sucking his weight down. That's what they're going to say. And of course, that's what anybody would say. Like, I hung around there too long. But 140 that's a fucking dangerous world for him.
Stevenson is so good. Why is he fighting this Japanese can with 16 fights?
Oh, my God, Mirage. Come on, man. Use your common sense.
This guy's a nobody. 16 fights. And what?
He had to fight him.
He's going to beat him up and need to go, this guy's the greatest thing.
See, this is the thing.
No, wait, hold up,
This is the thing. If this was...
Let me respond to that real quick.
Fight a top contender. Why isn't he fighting at least a sort of top contender?
Mirage, I know you saw where they mandated Isaac Cruz to fight Shakur Stevenson, and they blatantly ducked that fight. They said that, we don't like his style. It's not good for us. Next. Then he wanted to fight Zepeda. Zepeda was okay with the fight, but De La Hoya said we need to build Zepeda up a little bit more. Next person, Cambosis. I just got done fighting Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. I need a break with my family. So now you got to go down to Yoshino.
All right, so this was down the list. You think that this day?
Yeah, it was down the list.
Yeah, a bunch of people did turn him down.
I'll give him a break. I'll trust you. I'll trust you, Red Reed. But yeah, okay. Yeah. But he needs to step
whatever. After this fight, he's supposed to be. If he wins this fight, go ahead, Mr. B.
Yeah, sorry, Butcher, but yeah, even listen, a lot of those fights they're from across the pond, meaning they're other promotional entities. So to make that type of fight, a lot of these guys, especially when they know, listen, You watch Shakur Stevenson's last fight against Conceição, the ball busting, missing weight. I don't think a lot of people want to risk that and letting the other guy get away with that. But that's immaterial because Top Rank already said they want to match him with the winner of Lomachenko versus Haney. Now, do I like that one guy comes up in a weight division, let's say he beats this Japanese guy, all of a sudden he jumps ahead of the line and fights the winner? Listen, that's boxing. That's what, that's how they're going to work it. But my thing with Devin Haney and his team is they have a history of going against their own promoter. You're really seeing the parallels here between those two and Teofimo Lopez. Remember when Teofimo Lopez, he got big off that Lomachenko win. He said, fuck the rematch. He made up some excuse about how Lomachenko's team mistreated him. He never offered any proof for it. In fact, the only one who mistreated another team was Lopez's father, who was drunk and accosted Lomachenko's team. Be that as it may, you're seeing the same type of parallels here. Bill Haney and Devin Haney complaining that Top Rank wants them to lose, the whole Ramadan thing, racism, I think he even alluded to. And then there was another one recently. He said something about the weight. But so I don't know, man. It seems to me like whenever somebody...
Peanut thing, when he said that on the press conference, they was talking shit about that, but I ain't really see anything wrong with it.
People ain't stupid, though, BDA. People ain't stupid. People know when people are ducking. And that's exactly what Bill Haney's doing.
And it's Bill Haney, too. Bill Haney kept calling fucking Loma white Jesus. Over and over.
But my thing is, but let's stick to the subject here. The thing is, I don't think the Haneys like to be told what to do. They think they're their own promoters. And when Top Rank is telling them, look, you're going to fight this guy because it's the best fight we can make at this point between guys, roster. And these guys are going, we're going at the door. We're going to do what we want. I don't know, like what's a better fight for them, or a more easier fight to make than Haney Shakur Stevenson at this moment?
But Top Rank. If Haney thought that the next fight was going to be a cakewalk, trust me, they would take it. The reason why they're trying to talk this shit now is because they don't want to face them. That's why.
Did Haney get paid better with the zone with Eddie Hearn that he did with whoever else he was with? I don't know. He's with Bob Arum right now, right?
Yeah, prior to that, he was an independent.
That's the last fight on the contract, I believe.
Yeah, prior to that, he was an independent, and his father handled everything. So his father did all his matchmaking. I think he has a hard time giving up the any of the fucking. Yeah, he doesn't like the power. And the zone also way overpaid him. And even Bob Arum said that.
Bob Arum, Shakur Stevenson is the face of their company, let's be honest. And they want those belts to stay with Top Rank. So they will, if he beats Loma, they will want that fight next.
Well, see, this is the thing. Like I said, I want to, as a boxing fan, I want to see that fight too. But I still think it's a little too early for them to fight as of right now.
Man, fuck all of that. This is boxing. Like let's
unified. But Chibi, think about it, dude. One guy's the unified, undisputed champion at 135, and the other guy's coming up after already being a world champion at the 130. So, I mean, what are you saying? Maybe I'm understanding you wrong. Why do you think it's too soon?
All right, so this is how I look at it, bro. All right, so there's essentially four kings of this lightweight division that people pay attention to, of course. I know other people are great, so y'all calm down. We have Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis. No, 5. Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis, Lomachenko, Devin Haney, and damn, that other nigga, I forgot his name. But at the end of the day, it's 5 of them. So we all want to see them fight, of course. But Haney, the thing is with Haney, because I love Haney. Haney's my favorite boxer in lightweight, period. But I think it's still more things that he needs to work on. And I honestly, in my opinion, don't think that if the fight happens now, I think that Shakur would win. Because
so you don't want the fight to build up. You just scared of Shakur Stevenson.
This is what I'm saying. Let's just can I talk? Damn.
You literally just told us,
I'm telling you,
not ready.
Listen, I think that if he wait a couple more years, get a little more experience.
Why don't you just wait till he's 30, Chibi? Why don't you just wait till he's 30?
Bro, like I said, as a fan, I want to see them fight. I do, but I just don't think it's ready because we still got even after I'd rather see Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis. I think
Come on, listen. Don't get fooled just because he's fighting a kid fucking a cut tear out of fucking prospect status. Like, this is like, I'm not saying you, but man, you go on Twitter, he talks about this kid like he's fucking gonna go and listen. He's fighting Isaac Cruz next, or some other hand-picked no-hoper. I mean, the kid's fucking closer to 30 than he is fucking 25, and he's fighting for the first time in 6 years an opponent that might actually have a chance to fucking win, who's literally a fight out of prospect status. It's amazing how this kid's been matched soft and in silk pajamas, and it's not going to be suddenly. He's with Tom Brown, so he's still under the PBC umbrella, and it's like sand and vinegar, and gasoline in Al Haymond's mouth that he's being forced to make these fights because simultaneously he has no money. Showtime had their budget gone, cut. What it was is there was the fucking. Espinoza was told, you better put something on the table. You want to take this disaster, that's what the PBC has been, a fucking ratings disaster. The pay-per-views have lost them a ton of fucking money. They lost over $10 million. Well, Showtime didn't, but whoever financed it, there was rumors that it was Showtime put up like 5 out of the 15 million that was lost on that Ortiz Wilder fight. I don't know if that's true. That's a rumor I heard. But regardless, that's a lot of fucking money for Showtime for cable too. So anyways, they're being folded into the app by the end of this year. Espinoza, the reason why he's walking around like a cancer patient, because he thought he was losing his job. You see him at the fucking last fight, dude, it's all sunken in his eyes with fucking, dude, he looked like he had AIDS. Yeah, brother.
Jimmy, do you have any information on what the merger is going to look like for PBC boxing with a Paramount merger?
Well, Chris Murphy, who's Espinoza's new boss, the rumors in the industry that Chris never really liked him because the way he moved. They just, dude, and they don't like, and I can tell you right now, the woke, ridiculous garbage he tweets on Twitter, I don't think sits always well with people. He's smug, he's combative with people, and he's just kind of a fucking prick, to be honest with you. So you take that, and then people he worked with, even at the, and when he took over their number one football show, Steven Espinoza was producing that. He was in charge of that too. And the ratings went right down because he just started doing stupid segments. So anyways, I guess what it's being told is, and this is how Chris Murphy talked about it, we're telling guys what they want to bring. We have to see that it makes sense. And what I can ask you guys don't have to be TV executives to say what makes sense. Fucking programs that pull ratings in the 18 to 49 demographic, the key demographic, and the ones that. So, anyways, that, and on top of that, no more budget. Like, there's no money to be thrown around. That's the reason why Benavidez, fucking Caleb Plant was on pay-per-view. That fight would have been on Showtime last year, but Showtime has to pay for that.
Did they ever release the numbers?
I heard the low end 47,000. I heard the highest I heard was 77.
77,000?
Yes, that's the high end.
I heard that too. I heard that too.
I mean, it's to be expected, you know.
He ruined Showtime
numbers.
Well, come on. I mean, listen. Nobody, I mean, neither of those guys are big names. So for anyone you expect, like for example, if you go on YouTube, the All Access had, I think, 3 million views. But and I remember
one, right?
Well, I think they did 2 episodes. But anyway,
yeah, 2 million.
Like you can't use that to gauge how many pay-per-view buys people are going to buy, because something on YouTube is free. All people have to do is click on it, boom, they're watching it. Pay-per-view, you got to find it. You got cable provider, you got to pay. Yeah,
Mr. BDA though, like people know who Caleb Plant is more now because of the Canelo fight. You think they would be more interested in this fight?
You think?
Because he probably lost.
But why haven't they officially released the numbers yet? When is that due? Jimmy, shouldn't that be out already? Official?
Well, yeah. So that if it's not out, well, Showtime. What happened was Showtime and Espinoza, when he first got there, he did release them within a week. But when Al Heyman took his business there, Al Heyman across the board said, no, we're going to leak them through media. But they didn't even do that. So last time they didn't do that is when it was Wilder Hellenius. And it was 77,000, but other people started saying 50, 55. So I don't know if pressure got put on him, but he ended up putting it out through Dan and somebody else, another one of their show media, that it was 77,000. So Wilder did 77,000.
Did you see Wilder? I just overheard an interview recently where he's talking about begging people to buy pay-per-view because of the pirating and how it makes a big difference in the numbers. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think any amount of non-pirating fans out there are going to make a difference with the numbers you pulled with that Hellenius guy.
That's like a fucking dude fucking robbing you on the street and asking you fucking, can you give him a ride home? Like, are you fucking serious? You put a fight that belonged nowhere near pay-per-view. Fucking Robert Hellenius? There's a reason that dude checked out in the first fucking punch didn't even look. I mean, there was nothing on it, but whatever. He went right out, got his fucking pay, which was minimal. Because remember, they only get paid when you hear, well, he's getting a base salary of $1 million, but he can make up to $5 million. That's at a $500,000 sale. So that it did 77,000. So whatever Hellenius got, he didn't make $1 million for that fight. So yeah, that should have been on fucking pay-per-view. For him to complain then about people stealing it, I'm gonna rob you motherfuckers, but I'm gonna complain about you fucking stealing my pay-per-view. Fuck out of here. What a zip ahead.
I say something about tie it briefly back to the Stevenson Haney thing. Look, I don't know I don't think either of those guys is ever gonna be. Transcend boxing. That's just something that's very difficult to do. And even when you got guys like De La Hoya who transcended boxing, Mayweather and Pacquiao, like Canelo and Joshua, sometimes it's difficult to pinpoint why exactly those guys made it big. They've just got an X factor, charisma, whatever you want to call it. And so for some reason, people gravitate towards them. And also, they gotta have a certain amount of entertainment value. So with Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, look, if that's the best fight that Top Rank can make and get them the best money possible for those two guys, they should make it now. I don't think they're going to get any bigger. Maybe they will, but it's speculation at this point. And I just want to remind people of, like Jimmy alluded to earlier too, what happens when you over-marinate fights. Who was it? I think it was in Proverbs. I forget I think chapter 12, but it says, anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down, but a good work makes him glad. What does that mean? Inaction is going to lead to a rotten, it's going to lead to decay. It's going to lead to infestation of lethargy. And that's what happened with these boxers. May I remind you what happened with Yorkis Gamboa and Juan Manuel Lopez back in, I want to say, 2011? Those was, again, Top Rank. They had those two guys. Yorkis Gamboa was undefeated. He was looking like $1 million in some fights, and then he would look like shit in other fights. Meanwhile, Juanma Lopez, he was the next best Puerto Rican guy. He beat Rafael Marquez. He beat the crap out of fucking the Filipino guy. Fuck, I forget his name, that everybody loved. He was the one that finally stopped him after 10 years. And they said, no, let's marinate it. Let's marinate it. What happens? Orlando Salido comes along and he beats the crap out of Juanma Lopez twice. Bye-bye to that fight. Could have been an interesting fight between two Hispanic fighters. So pray tell that doesn't happen, man. Because I've seen that story too with fighters, man. Like Shakur Stevenson, people think, he can go up all the way to welterweight. That's speculation. I remember when people were saying that about Errol Spence. After he beat Brook and Lamont Peterson, they're like, man, he can go up to middleweight and give Canelo the work, or Golovkin and these guys. Meanwhile, he finally fights Sean Porter. He goes life and death with him. So it's first you got to take care of what's in front of you, what's in your plate. Shakur Stevenson hasn't even fought at 135 yet. So we got to give these guys time and listen, fight each other. Finish what's on your plate, and then we can talk about 147. But this thing with Bill Haney saying, it's going to happen at 147. I don't even think Devin Haney makes it to 147. I don't think he can be compared. I doubt he can be compared to 140.
I don't think so either.
I don't know about that.
Oh wait, hold on. Let's rewind that right fast. And why you don't think that Devin Haney will be good at 140?
Because he has no power at 130.
I was asking the host. I want to hear what you got.
Well, I'm not the host. I'm not the host today, but I'll be brief because I want to hear from other people too. First of all, the lack of power. B, the lack of chin that he has. The lack of inside game. He's mostly a counterpuncher with a good jab. So when he's not counterpunching, he's jabbing, and that's allowed him so far to get the wins. But at 140, he's going to be fighting guys that are bigger. They're going to be coming at him. They're not going to let him dictate the pace. I don't even think that type of approach he's got is going to work on Lomachenko. So 140, and now you're saying, and then Bill Haney saying 147 when we haven't even seen him fight the rest of the other guys at 135. I think that's going way too far, man. I think he's overlooking.
Let's say we have Prograis and Devin Haney. Do you think Devin Haney's going to have enough power to keep Prograis off of him? You think he's going to have enough power to keep Prograis off of him? Prograis a dog.
I think he can
knocks
outbox
him out.
Prograis, but no, BDA made a good point. But look, even Floyd Mayweather, as skilled as he was, he couldn't just outbox everybody. Eventually, he had to get into a dogfight, like with Cotto, and a bunch of other fights. Castillo. What's going to happen when Devin Haney can't just use a jab and use lateral movement? He has to fight.
You guys remember when you guys
also Floyd had a chin.
Yeah, Floyd had a chin, and Floyd could fight on the inside too. Floyd was a complete fighter.
Exactly.
That's the issue.
All right, so let's talk about.
He's not a complete fighter.
Floyd,
I'm glad y'all just brought up
Floyd. Floyd outside.
Floyd give you an example of a boxer
type. A whole round without doing anything. That's not Haney. Haney's game isn't like Floyd. Haney's not.
Devin is not a complete fighter, Chibi. That's why to me he's a limited fighter. He's talented. Don't get me wrong, but you're not just going to outbox everybody with a simple jab and lateral movement. You got to have more in your game.
Yeah, Haney's game is jab and clinch, jab and clinch, jab and clinch. That's Haney's game.
All right, so you remember? So I'm glad y'all brought up Floyd Mayweather because I remember when Floyd Mayweather, because I was just watching old videos of Floyd Mayweather earlier today, and I remember he was in this one fight when he just moved up. I forgot who the guy's name was, but that was the first time Floyd really got rocked, and he still ended up winning the fight. But then we did see get rocked in the Linares fight, and I do think that his chin is sus. But you don't think that maybe he'll gain more power once he get up to 140? I mean, because he already have the body for 140.
It's the way he throws his punches. But here's the thing, GB. I didn't mean to cut you off, but here's the thing. The reason why he doesn't have power, it's the way he plants his feet. Me and Mr. BDA were looking at some tape, and we really could see it. He punches with his ass going backwards. He's not putting his weight up over his feet, and he's avoiding. And why is he doing that? Because as he's putting on his offense, he's already concerned about what's coming back. And if he's that concerned about what's coming back at 135, what's coming back at 140 is going to be fucking, and never mind 147. Think about this. I mean, fucking Bud Crawford would destroy him.
That's a great point because when he throws that too, he doesn't put his weight over that foot.
No.
He just doesn't put it over the.
He barely turns his right hand over half the time.
No, he doesn't even throw his hip into it too much. He is fight or flight mode, and he's usually flight.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't. You'll see someone who's putting a stink on their punch is gonna fucking their hips are lined up with their shoulder.
Okay, and so
who do you
and not only that, you see the torque. Jimmy,
exactly,
who do you see in a lightweight that can beat him? I mean, at 140 that can beat him.
At 140, I'd like Prograis over him at 140. I think Prograis would be too big.
That's so you think that Prograis will win, or is it a 50-50 fight?
I think I don't think he can. I don't know how he's going to handle his power. Prograis can crack. He's a big kid.
I'm making a
back, strong kid.
I'll make a prediction already here. Whatever happens against Lomachenko, whether he wins, whether Haney beats Lomachenko, or whether he loses, well, let's say he wins. It's not going to be easy. After that, let's say he wins. I guarantee you, there's going to be a shitload of people on Twitter saying Prograis eats him alive at 140 because the southpaw thing, blah blah blah. They're going to be making those comparisons, and they're going to be saying, "Well, if Lomachenko made him look bad, imagine what a bigger Prograis does." But again, that's speculation. But I want to touch on something though about the punching power. Haney slaps too, and look, listen. If you can't stop one guy, all right, that's fine. People sort of tend to forget how hard it is, or difficult it is, rather, to stop a guy, a professional boxer. It's not easy. I mean, these guys are well conditioned for the most part, and they train to have very good defense and sustained punishment. But here's the but: Haney couldn't even put a dent on Yuriorkis Gamboa. He couldn't even wobble or hurt Jorge Linares, who suffered nothing but stoppage losses. Now, okay, I granted, like I said in the video, I give him credit for outboxing Linares because that's not easy to do. Most of the guys that beat Linares were either knocking him out way too early before Linares could establish dominance, or they had to come back from a decision. The only guy that actually outworked him and outboxed him and stopped him was Lomachenko. So that's a pretty high mark there indeed. So Haney, you give him credit for outboxing Linares. But again, we're talking about 140 now. It's very worrisome that he couldn't do jack squat in terms of power to Linares. I mean, he got his respect, but now you're moving up to 140. You can't fucking put a dent on those fragile guys. You think it's going to be enough to stop some of these guys or put a dent on them and get their respect? That's what
funny thing, BDA, is that his last knockout was at 140, and that was like 5, maybe 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and an old Gamboa too, an old worn-out Gamboa. You couldn't even fucking put a dent into him.
Jojo Diaz walked right directly at him. No head movement, just kind of a fucking peekaboo stance, with his hands up, but walked right at him. He could have fucking really planted his feet. Yeah, and I think Jojo Diaz realized by like the 5th, 6th round, especially once everybody starts losing all those sting on their punches, this kid doesn't lay down on his punches. I'm not saying, listen, if he wanted to fucking put some like a good punch against somebody, he could, but he doesn't fight that way. He fights ass out, man. His ass is going backwards as his fucking body is going, his punch is going forward. And the way he's placing his feet,
momentum on that punch.
Yeah, exactly. And the way he's placing his feet, you can tell that he's looking like that's the reason he can jump back and miss it. Like he's very concerned with what's coming at him.
What that tells me, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to say this real quick. That what that tells me is that basically he's just fighting for points. He's just fighting to a decision. He's a boxer, pure boxer.
He wants to get into it. I don't think he trusts his own chin. Also, you got to understand this. Listen, maybe some shit's gone on in sparring that we don't know because we don't know a lot of shit here. We're just talking about the fights we see. Maybe he knows and his dad's aware and he's aware that this motherfucker can't take a punch.
I'll tell you right now, his dad doesn't talk like
he wouldn't.
I was going to say QB. His dad doesn't talk like a fight. No, I was going to say his dad don't talk confident. No man, like you don't say the things he says. You don't make up lies. Like he made up lies about Lomachenko, straight lies. Well, actually, he didn't lie. He didn't say it at first. The guys with the panel, that fat black racist trap queen he was on. Well, she is that fucking bitch, man. The shit she says about white people is just bad. But anyway, he's on with her. He's on with the fucking Trillin, the fucking guy who literally raises dogs to fight them. Raises puppies from puppies to fight dogs. So I mean, that's the group he's hanging with. And they're lying, and she's saying, we know Lomachenko. She's saying he shouldn't fight Lomachenko because he didn't want to fight him when he was his mandatory. And his father co-signed that bullshit when it's an out-and-out, blatant, bull-faced lie. I mean, easily proven lie. And the thing is, and then he would go on to the white Jesus, and they started, and the more they fed off, and then he was, he ain't no war, like just shit, like nothing to do with boxing, like just personal fucking nasty attacks. I'm not saying it was Devin didn't say that, and it sucks if I was him. I'm like, Dad, shut your fucking mouth, dude. Why you writing checks my ass has to cash?
But I did hear. I think he was saying that. I didn't. Mind you, I did not. I did not see this video you're talking of. But I think he was saying that. Yeah. No. You could. But what I was saying was, because I remember I did see Bob Arum praising Lomachenko like a mother, like straight dick riding. Like I was like, yo, all right, bro, he's great, and I even agree he's great. But he was saying that he's better than Muhammad Ali.
But at the time, but you gotta understand, he was the fastest person in the history of the sport to win 3 weight classes? Was it 3 or the fastest to 2 or some fucking crazy thing like within 8 fights? Like this dude was taking on the, you know what I mean? So like, of course he was deserving. So when you do that, right, simultaneously, the old heads aren't going to like it because it's kind of like, that's not how it's done. But at the same token, you got to learn to respect it. Listen, I didn't like him. When he first came on and demanded a fucking world championship fight for his first fight, that pissed me off. I wanted to see the kid lose. He won me over by his talent. I'm like, God damn, look at the shit the kid does. And then, listen, you want to know if he was a really good talented fighter? Listen to the way other fighters talk about him.
By being privileged and giving these handout title shots when he didn't deserve them?
Well, there you go.
That's why people didn't like him.
Something about Devin Haney. The thing that's might get him in trouble is, I don't know, I heard a rumor that he was talking about $6 million and how that wasn't possible because if you look at the ovens, they're not big enough. I said, come on, I hope that doesn't come to light. But I will say this, and this is a more worrisome aspect when it comes to boxing, modern boxing, that is. Some of you were mentioning Mayweather. He actually sort of stunted his career a little bit in terms of some of the possible matchups at 135, 140. Because remember, he skipped. He only had one fight at 140. He could have stayed at 135, but he jumped all the way to 147 because he was chasing De La Hoya. He wanted that big money fight. So in a way, he was chasing the money over there, and then he stayed there, and it took him a while to grow into 147 and 154. In fact, even at 154, the guy was. I didn't see a size difference between him and Canelo. Be that as it may, the point is
Canelo came in that big as hell.
Actually, let me just read a super chat real quick before I continue my diatribe here. Shout out to. Fuck, I can't even see the super chat. Where's the super chat? Oh, okay. Shout out to Virtuoso. Shout out to Virtuoso. Said, "Is Anthony Yiget a real step-up fight for Keyshawn? Is that how you pronounce it, Keyshawn?"
Keyshawn Davis. It's okay. Keyshawn Davis.
Remind me to get to the numbers there later. What I was going to say about Mayweather, but to Virtuoso's question, it's a bit of a step up, yeah, because Yiget did go 12 with what's his name, Baranchik. And then he had that sloppy affair with Romero, which I think it was prematurely stopped. But yeah, he's a durable guy. He's an ex-Olympian, I think, so he knows what he's doing. So we'll see. At least it's a fight to see if Keyshawn Davis can chase him down and close the show. As far as
in all reality, it's a real good. Top Rank got a real good card to, and I think it's going to bring a lot of people, especially like and I'm just keeping it real. It's going to bring a lot of people who be watching football and basketball back to boxing because how that card is laid out, how they even laid it out on where everybody was and everything. It's going. That's the only thing I was thinking about it. Yeah, I was thinking about they got. Then you got other people just sitting there like, well, I don't know if I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna try. So like how they promoted it was a good promotion, and a lot of people gonna look back at that.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, possible, right? I mean, it's a step up card for these guys. It's to look good more or less. But the Mayweather thing.
Mayweather's point you were saying.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, so he actually could have stayed. He could have done more work at 135. But that's the thing though. He was fighting pretty frequent. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Or am I cutting off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was fighting pretty frequently. That's the main problem with these guys. Devin Haney, he only fought twice last year. Shakur Stevenson, he only fought twice last year. This year, for example, Teofimo Lopez and Josh Taylor are going to be fighting all the way to June. So that means that as long as they don't get injured, the winner's probably only going to get one more fight at the most this year. The inactivity, man, we're not seeing these guys grow. We're not seeing these guys develop. Like I said, Mayweather, they pushed him pretty quickly too. 1998, that's when he got Fight of the Year. He beat Angel Manfredi and Genaro Hernandez. I think he had another fight in 98. So it's like I think he had 3 fights. De La Hoya, when he fought in 1998, I believe, or 97, he fought 5 times. And he was no pussies either. He fought Pernell Whitaker, Miguel Angel Gonzalez, who was undefeated. He fought Hector Camacho, so okay, was past it a little bit, but nevertheless, it was a veteran. David Kamau, and then Wilfredo Rivera. Not Wilfredo Rivera, what was his name? Yeah, Rivera, Puerto Rican contender. When do you see guys even fighting fucking 4 times this year? Or a year? You don't see it anymore. It's insane that the amount of fights that these guys are having now. They're not developing properly. So my question to you guys is how are we seeing the best boxing possible when these guys have under 20 fights and they're only fighting twice?
No, not even close. It's already started affecting Boots Ennis. His last performance, that's ring rust. You can't fight 4 minutes in 2021 and come back and fight one more time in 2022. And that kid, he fought the 29th ranked dude named Kieran and didn't look good against him. You know what I mean? He beat him convincingly, but not the way he was talked about and not the way his trajectory of his career was looking. And that was inactivity. And he even said it himself. Look at Stephen Fulton, man. You got to give that kid honesty. He's like, what the fuck? All you hear about is the code this and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I have to go to Japan to make money because I don't get supported by my fucking own hometown. Philadelphia is supposed to be a fight town. I grew up there, represented Philadelphia. I get no support in that town. I got to go to fucking Japan to get paid.
When did he say this?
February 8th. No, March 8th. He said it March 8th. I remember the date. Yeah.
This happens a lot with fighters. This is the common narrative with fighters nowadays. Some guys can't get the support of their hometown behind them. And, we see it with Davis because he's got a lot of support with his promotion with Mayweather, but not everyone's as fortunate as that. Like a lot of guys don't get a lot of support, man, and it's grim out there if you're a fighter.
I had said this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say real quick, I think that was Fulton also throwing shade at Al Heyman without throwing shade. Because remember, they're all under a PDA. You know what I mean? And so they can't say nothing negative about Al Heyman or he could sue the dog shit out of him. So I think that was his way of saying, I'm not fighting. I wasn't fighting enough. And they know that. They know that there's a reason why, listen, boxing, of course, and then when you start throwing everything behind paywalls, it's access, now you pay to see everything. De La Hoya was fighting 8 o'clock prime time, being shown on like Channel 5 back when there was 3 channels on television. Like 20, 30 million people were watching him fight in the Olympics. The kid come out of the Olympics with coke deals, fucking car deals. He was, luggage deals. So, you know what I mean? So those days are done. We're never going to see that again. This going in the wrong direction. And it's not just the fighters, it's the promoters. They're all fucking this up. They're all fucking this up. These guys can't fight once or twice a year.
I gotta back him up on that point because when I was growing up, and I grew up in East LA, at the time De La Hoya was just going to the Olympics. Man, that guy had so much support because you got to see him fight. Even when he became big, he was accessible. Like you got to see him for free on TV. They didn't have all this bullshit where you had to pay pay-per-view for some measly fight. Everyone could watch De La Hoya on fucking television. And
that's what the news. I had said this. I had essentially said this a long time ago. I said this a long time ago. The reason why, if Stephen Fulton were to fight in Philadelphia, the reason why is because, like, all right, so who's supposed to represent him? Like, so like black people supposed to essentially represent him. But the problem is, like, it's so many sports that we're playing, like the basketball. Football thing is just so big that they're not even paying attention to boxing like that. You know what I'm saying? The only reason why this is I'm telling you, I swear to God, it's a cultural thing. Look, like the reason
you had NBA, you had NBA in the 80s, you had NFL in the 80s, you had everything in the 80s as well.
Go ahead.
They didn't have time, and all of a sudden they don't have time. Now they have full schedule.
Listen, hear me out. At that time, it wasn't that many. Hold on. At that time, it wasn't that big. Boxing was the biggest sport, but it's big because you got to think about the college. Like these kids are not really trying to be boxers or anything, or not looking up to these boxers because the colleges and everything. They're not promoting boxers. They're promoting basketball and football. And if you can make that scholarship, we can make it happen. That's why they're not really paying attention. I can go to any hood and nobody wouldn't even know Stephen Fulton, but they know Javante Tank Davis. The only reason why they know him is because of Mayweather. And Mayweather was the last of the era when they was really like paying attention to boxing like that. That's why Javante Tank Davis is known like that.
Hey, Chibi, hold up. Before you respond to Chibi, let me say one quick thing. The reason why we know who Tank is not because of Mayweather. That's part of it, but you got to remember Mayweather also had Devin Haney under his wing too, and Devin Haney is not like that. So it's the real reason is because Tank is actually.
You're taking it the wrong way. We know about it because we love the sport. But if I go to the hood, they don't know about Devin Haney. When I bring up Devin Haney, they don't know nothing about him.
But Tank's got that bad boy persona that people gravitate towards. And
you know what's going on in the black community right now with boxing? And this isn't even about right. This is actually they're more upwardly mobile now. When black Americans,
unless they're good at boxing.
Exactly. It's because of the barbarity of the sport, and when less fathers in a home too, it definitely affects it because it's a sport that's usually passed on by the fathers. Whereas, like Bud Crawford, like you said, that was a rarity. My mom put me in boxing. Most mothers don't even think of that. They put the kids in soccer, baseball, basketball, football. It's just boxing wasn't a thing, and poverty, so poverty is a big motivator, bro. And
Jimmy, to build on your point real quick, that's why you don't really see great fighters come out of Western Europe. You see them come from Eastern Europe, the old Soviet bloc where there was more poverty. And
Ukraine's the poorest country in Europe.
No, and you know what? I can even agree with you on that because I wanted to disagree, but my dad put me in boxing, so I'll be a hypocrite. So it's like
there you go.
That's the thing, and then you got to think about it. Everybody's pressuring this dude because he's good on the court, and you got that one chance. They only thinking about football and basketball because it's paying right then and there. And you gotta be, bro. Any fighter, any sportsman would tell you guys, boxing is the hardest sport to do. You got to be a real dog to even make it to where these people are.
We are removing the blame from the promoters who have destroyed the sport. We're just blaming the culture, and yeah, that's a factor. There's many factors always but in this case also the promoters, they've destroyed the sport, and I believe that the fact that you had boxing on premium cable for such a long time, that hurt boxing, in my opinion, as well.
With HBO, but at least HBO gave us the fights, though, right?
It did, but how many people? I mean, I never understood why it was on premium cable.
I agree with that.
They started so early. They got into it when boxing was still the number one sport. That's why when it became a cable outfit in 1976, the first thing they did was sign with boxers. They wanted boxing. Everybody wanted boxing. Networks used to trip over themselves to get boxing on their channel. Think about this, guys. Yeah, 70 million people tuned in for Spinks Muhammad Ali. 70 million. You got guys sucking each other's dicks over 300,000 pay-per-views. 70 million people. Because it was the biggest sport. And again, because there's still a reason why boxing is so popular in Central and South America and a lot of Mexican areas is it's wealth driven. It really is. Plus, it's also so cultural, such a part of the culture in Mexico.
It's also culture.
Thankfully.
Because it's also cultural. Because if you look at Central America, they don't produce that many boxers or any boxers.
Colombia, none.
But they play a lot of soccer and jiu-jitsu, right?
What's that?
They play a lot of soccer, and they're really known for their mixed martial arts, like jiu-jitsu and whatnot.
Well, that's Brazil. And when it comes to other sports, I mean, soccer is the number one. But then you have other countries that play. Panama plays baseball. Venezuela. So it's also a cultural thing. And boxing, it's mostly in Mexico where it's popular. It's not popular in Guatemala. I don't see any Guatemalan boxers. At all. It's culture, obviously poverty, of course, that for sure, guaranteed. In the United States, you had Italians, in the old days, Irish, Jewish boxers.
Even Jewish champions, yeah.
And then it moved.
Out of Hell's Kitchen, New York, the poor kids from Hell's Kitchen.
But again, I just want to go back to the promoters. We have to blame the promoters as well, the managers, all of these guys. They're not making the fights we want, and that's hurting the sport, of course. Absolutely.
And this all started under Al Heyman with HBO. Sorry, go, brother.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say it started with Al Heyman when he started working in HBO. He's the one who put the rift between him and Showtime. He deliberately tribalized the networks, and they just continue that. In fact, HBO had such a bad taste in their mouth after Heyman, they got out of boxing altogether because he drove the numbers into the toilet. I'm done.
And another thing, too, the new CEO of the WWE said it best. He said that the one thing wrestling was able to do, it was able to show some of the events on regular cable, regular cable, and then the special events of the pay-per-view. Boxing's not really doing that. They need to have more eyeballs on the sport, and it's just not as accessible like the other sports are. And like Buccio said, the promoters are ruining it by not putting on the fights that we want to see. It's just that simple. I mean, how does the UFC grow so quick and so fast? I never think I would never.
Well, it's a monopoly. But Joe, as well, let's blame the boxers as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But the thing, what I was going to say, I never thought in my day that the UFC would be as popular than boxing than it is now. I mean, I just can't.
But it's unfair to compare. But I think, Joe, it's unfair because we know how the UFC works. It's a monopoly, basically. Dana White can do whatever the fuck he wants. He tells the fighter,
but he does give the fights that. But he does put on the fights that people want to see.
I agree, but then again, it's a different. They work differently.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying,
But because and I take no pleasure in giving Dana fucking flowers at all. I think he's a dick in real life, dude. Yeah, dude, he's not a good person. But anyways, what I'm going to say though, there's literally hundreds of MMA promotions. The reason why the UFC is like the gold standard, like everybody's dying to get into the UFC. Of course, once they get the name, and then they're like, well, I want more money. That shit always, that whole thing. But he did have to, but he was able to do that because he always does match his best, and he doesn't care. He doesn't even care if they complain because he knows that, he'll get the next guy coming in because nobody can compete with him. I mean, what's the next closest thing is fucking Showtime shit. And it's
Bellator.
nothing compared to the
Bellator,
UFC.
yeah.
It's
That's
trash.
what UFC. That's what UFC fighters who get cut from their fucking roster go to fight.
Yeah, I was shocked, and I don't want to talk too much about UFC. We should go back to boxing, but I am shocked that Diamond, Michael Venom Page never made it to the UFC. Like, bro, what the fuck? But okay, we go back to
They paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, he
Bellator
gets
did pay
paid
him a lot
well
of
at
money.
Bellator. He gets paid
Yeah.
well. Bellator pays their fighters good, man.
Well, that's good. So there's some competition there. Yeah, they're competing for
And
fighters.
TFL's doing pretty well too. They might move to number 2 behind UFC. I mean, a lot of fighters are going there now too.
So Dana White's still talking about getting into boxing. I think I read something about that. Or
Yes,
that would be
that's
cool.
what his heart is. That's what he started in the fucking in combat sports was boxing. That's what his heart is. He loves boxing.
Oh yeah. Eddie
Yeah.
Hearn said he won't make it.
Yeah, of course. Eddie's going to say that because Eddie doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
He's losing fighters
No,
over the
but
fucking...
isn't he realistic though? I mean,
guy.
seriously, how many people have tried to make it into boxing, even former boxers, and they don't even make it? They don't.
And to Jimmy's point too, Bucho. Dana White loves boxing. He was watching the Caleb Plant Canelo fight during their event. They caught him watching the fight. He bet that Canelo was going to knock Plant out, and he won like $170,000.
It's one thing to love boxing; it's another to actually understand it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
how much does he know? Go ahead, Mr. B.
it's a cutthroat sport if there's ever been one. I mean, you mentioned Sugar Ray Leonard. He tried it, didn't work. Jay-Z came in, tried it, didn't work. Who else, man? I mean, I've
Snoop
told the
Dogg.
story ad nauseum about that. Snoop Dogg tried. I didn't know. Huh.
Yep, and it didn't work.
Endeavor tried to buy out Al Hammond and Top Rank. They were trying to buy them out, but they couldn't make a deal.
Yeah,
Rock Nation dropped over $100 million.
I mean, that's insane. And there was a movie producer who said, "Look, I'm gonna give it this amount of time to start a promotional outfit here in boxing. I'm gonna try," he said. And he tried, and I don't know how long he stayed in there, but then he left, and then he told the boxing writer, he said, "Look, Hollywood," and I don't know if you guys have heard the business stories out of Hollywood, how to make movies, how to close deals. It's another cutthroat sport. It's filled up with a bunch of narcissists and homosexuals. Which you take a homosexual and a narcissist and put them together. That's the worst. And so he said, "Look, boxing like that compared to boxing, it's a bunch of choir boys." He said boxing is really a den of snakes. And then there was the other dude, Sam Simon, one of the producers for The Simpsons, amongst other shows, Taxi and all those shows. This guy was loaded with money. And he got Lamont Brewster, Lamont Brewster, I don't know how you say his first name. And he had him. He paid for his expenses. He actually got him to live in his house at some point. Like, he really helped him out. As soon as he beat Klitschko, Don King comes along and scoops him real easy. Real easy. Because no matter how much money... Oh, it was Al Heyman. I thought it was Don King.
Yeah, it was Al Heyman. That was his first fighter, and he actually did it in a wicked, disgusting way. He was like real rude to him. He like tough shit. That's the way it is, and he wouldn't even let him talk to him. And he was Brewster fucked him over. And is Brewster the one who lost his eye?
Wait. So he was working with Don King.
Yes, that might have been how he got into boxing through with King. But yeah, it was Heyman who did the deal.
Because I always thought that Heyman's first fighter was what's his name? Vernon Forrest.
Well, is he the guy who lost his eye? Right?
Yeah, Sam, yeah.
Yeah, no, Heyman had him too. In fact, Heyman is the one who had him fight even after the doctor told him he could lose his eyesight.
Well, listen, hey, you got to do what you got to do. I'm going to drop off. Jackson wants to jump in.
Yeah, if people who are not speaking... I'm gonna have to kick you out because there's people that want to
get off. You guys want me to get off to let somebody on?
No, Jimmy, you staying here. All right, guys, let's talk about Tyson Fury. So, remember we were talking about this last time, or one of the last time I think. Anyways, it was that we said that Tyson Fury was gonna look into fighting Joshua, and apparently. Eddie Hearn said that he got a call from Fury's promoter about a possible fight. So there we have it. Joshua versus Fury. What do you guys think about that shit show?
Not surprising. Remember, right after the fucking Joshua fight, I said, Fury's itching now to really fight him after that shit he pulled last time. You have 24 hours to give me a notice. I'm going a different direction after his loss, after Usyk lost. But yeah, I thought the fact that he would talk about his size, like he said his size is too much with Usyk, and then he comes in even heavier, 255, sluggish, just so inconsistent. Like he was just apprehensive. He fought an apprehensive fight against a guy who's not even a power puncher. Man. I just look at there's enough of a sample size, right? No, it is a big fight. Oh, it'll be huge. 90,000 people at fucking. Oh yeah, absolutely. But think about it, BDA, right? I mean, Bucho, if you look at it, the sample size. When's his last? Let me ask you. When do you think his last great performance was? I'll tell you. I say it's against Klitschko. If I'm missing anything.
What about the Wilder, the second fight?
No, I was talking about Joshua. I'm sorry. I was talking about Joshua.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Right now, think about it, bro. That was the fight because, hey, Klitschko was the first. He wasn't boring. That was an awesome fight. Both got down. They did what got people juices about boxing. Guys getting off the canvas and fighting. It was exciting, and everybody's been waiting for that dude to come. And if you look at his resume, bad performance, excuses, moved different trainer, boring performance. Then he gets starched by the fucking Ruiz, comes back and he made an excuse because he was born into, the comeback fight because, we had to come back.
He was so dominant in the second fight that it looks like his career had a second wind. Like there was vindication that he's a good fighter. And I think people forgot about all those bad performances against Parker, etc., etc. That Ruiz rematch win. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of boring performances.
Ruiz had the balls to fight Usyk, unlike Fury, fucking pussy.
All right. So we understand that where Joshua's at right now in his career. Fury, on the other hand, he should be fighting Usyk. That's the fight we want. How does he get away from? How is he going to sell us this Joshua fight? What's he going to be selling? Are people going to ask him about the Usyk fight at the press conference? Like, hey, why did you make this fight happen? What's he going to fucking say?
What can he say? You even have people who are his supporters, English press, straight up calling him out saying, this is just bullshit, dude. You kept moving the goalpost. And when he finally fucking said, 70-30, and then you're like, but I want 50-50 in a rematch. Like, what? It's so obvious he didn't want to make that fight. He just didn't want to make that fight.
Hey, if you're Joshua, you're taking that fight. It's a title fight. Can you believe that? He's back. He's in title contention, basically.
Plus the money.
Could become another. He could. No, of course, yeah. The money, yes, and a chance to become a champion again.
I know. It'd be crazy not to take that. Although, didn't Eddie Hearn say that? I believe Eddie Hearn actually said he wants to get another couple of fights.
Yes.
With Derek James, and I'm like, first off, I'd be back at Garcia saying I made a mistake, bro. Because is anybody gonna tell me that he didn't look better in the second Usyk fight than he did against this past kid? I think he did.
Yeah, me too. A bunch of people were telling me that too. That he looked way better with Garcia than he did with Derek James. Derek James is saying the same fucking shit every round. You're saying the same fucking thing.
Yep, 17 pounds heavier too, wasn't he, under James?
Yep.
So know what that tells me, bro? Know what that tells you? Garcia won't put up with that. Listen, Garcia's got a good enough stable. He's going to tell you, all right, I'll work with you, but I'm not like, I don't need your name. I don't need the headaches, bro. I'm going to tell you what I think you need to be. You're too heavy. You need to. So there was a lot of road work. You had to lose a lot of weight. I think James like, you want to fight heavy? That's all right, brother. No problem. You know what I mean? Like, come at 255. All that massive.
Or it could be a schedule thing, no? A schedule of maybe he wants to train in the UK. I don't know.
Yeah, but the issues that AJ has, is that really something a coach can really fix? To me, it's lack of heart and lack of a killer instinct.
But he did perform pretty decently in that second Usyk fight, even though he lost.
Yeah, he did.
He looked better.
But maybe there's some things that Franklin presents that I know it sounds blasphemous that Usyk doesn't present. I don't know. He was worried about something, but maybe he's still dealing with the mental issues of losing that fight.
I think what happened is he got in and realized he never got his second wind because he was too fat. Well, not fat. He had too much muscle. At 255 pounds, it's ridiculous. All that girth up on his shoulders. He was prodding, slow-footed, apprehensive. I just don't think that fucking he's posting all his pictures about the road work he's doing and the dedication, and he comes in at 255. That's silly. And Garcia probably wouldn't put up with it.
I mean, people argue that Franklin beat Dillian White, right? And people have been claiming that Dillian White is a good contender and is a good fight for AJ, Wilder, a lot of these guys. So, I mean, if that's the case, then the Franklin win maybe is a little bit underrated.
I never have. I never said that about Dylan, that's for sure. I just never was impressed with that kid.
Oh. I mean, I don't know if you remember, there was legit people thinking that Dillian White can beat Wilder.
I always said that, and I still believe it, to be honest.
You think Dillian White could beat Deontay Wilder?
Absolutely. He can.
Well, here's the issue with Deontay Wilder. Everybody he gets in the ring with is a 50-50 fight because of his lack of skills. But he can still beat everybody as well.
No, not with Fury. That's not a 50-50 fight. It never was.
I mean, even with Fury, he did knock him down 3 times. But
he got back up. The powers. I mean, he can't keep Fury down, and that's why it's a 50-50 fight in your opinion, because Wilder has that power, but he doesn't have that power against Fury. It doesn't seem like he's bothered that. I mean, he did go down, but he got back up all the time, every time.
And the numbers are insane. At no time in the 32 rounds they fought, he never landed more than 10 punches a round.
It wasn't never a 50-50.
Yeah, it was the most lopsided trilogy I think I've ever seen. Fury didn't even take that third fight serious. He came in a slob. He was breathing through his mouth in the third round. He's actually lucky he didn't get knocked out. And then come to find out, even his trainer said, "Yeah, man, he didn't take this. No, he left camp twice. Once for a funeral and something else, but sounded to me like Sugar Hill was ready to drop me. He sounded pissed when he talked about it. I would be pissed too."
Yeah. And by the way, Dillian White, how did he got knocked out? He was stopped by Joshua. He was stopped by Povetkin and Fury, and in those 2 last instances, he was dropped with a nice sneaky uppercut. Wilder doesn't throw any of those type of punches, man. He just throws that fucking wild ass right hand. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't knock out White if he lands, of course, but it's a closer fight than what people think. Dillian White,
pumping up.
Over. Go ahead.
Let's stop pumping up this Franklin dude. This guy's a dude. We're an elite fighter, perfect fighter. He's a showcase opponent for an elite fighter.
Yeah.
To beat him up, get him the fuck out of here. Don't start saying, "Oh, this guy's fucking, pretty good fighter." He's okay, but a top fighter should beat him up, if not
exactly. He was supposed to get knocked out. The odds reflected that.
Yeah.
The odds reflected that. He was there to get knocked out. Let's stop this bullshit. Oh, he was better than we thought. He had some secret. No, it's a guy that was supposed to get knocked out.
Pocket, right there to be hit.
Yeah, maybe AJ is just not the fighter that we thought he was going to be.
Maybe.
I think AJ's. We all been waiting for that fucking AJ who fought Klitschko, and I just don't. I think that was the anomaly. That wasn't the fucking. You know what I mean? But listen, that kid Franklin. He didn't do himself any favors, man. He did, and the fact that he said he came in the best shape of his life, he was fatter than he was against fucking White. If that's the best shape you're gonna come in, dude, where were you training at fucking Burger King?
Well, that's his physique. That's his limits. But some fighters, they're natural fighters. They can come back when they from a bad defeat. Manny Pacquiao got knocked out cold. He came back. He's been knocked out multiple times. Come back like a beast. Mike Tyson. AJ, he's not like that. He's not built like that. It's still in the back of his head. I think he's mentally not the same, and I don't think it can be repaired at this age. Personally,
I think it's a big ask myself too. I agree.
Unless they hypnotize him, some hypnosis or some bullshit. I don't know.
But I was he did okay in the second Usyk fight. He was never gonna win because he's not a skill. But in this fight against Franklin, he should have got him out of there. And he didn't. Not only he did not get him out of there. He looked scared a little bit. Maybe scared is a big word, but he looked very he didn't really want to engage.
He looked timid. Yeah.
Timid, exactly. Yes.
That's the word Tim Bradley used. He straight up called it. Tim Bradley said, man, he's done to me. He used scared. Andre Ward used the word scared. Even Mark Kriegel said he was scared. Mark Kriegel's like, he couldn't even stop fucking, because he tweeted out after the fight, momentum. And the guy in Show Testator asked Andre Ward, it was funny. He says, what do you think about that? And Ward just kind of because he's trying to be real cool about it. He goes, depends on what direction he's talking about. Everybody started laughing.
He was playing it pretty safe because the fight was so important. Maybe it's just because of that. Like, he couldn't lose this fight. He didn't want to take any chances. Maybe this is a stepping stone. He might improve. Next fight, maybe we can see.
Right, but he needs to fight with a sense of urgency or to make a statement that he's back. And
if you're legit, if you're the top dude.
Well, it's bad when Eddie Hearn the press conference hadn't even started yet. He was already in the back fucking room talking to reporters, rattling off all kinds of reasons why he knew he looked like shit. He admitted it. Oh, that's his first time with that trainer and blah, blah, blah. But dude, you knew that going into the fight. You weren't saying that. You were saying, be prepared. I've never seen him this focused. You're going to see the best of him. You know what I mean?
The worst are his fans, his cult-like fans who always say, they bring up this thing, oh, he has a lot of pressure. He has a lot of pressure. That's the excuse. He has a lot of pressure, so he didn't perform. What the fuck does that mean? Who doesn't have pressure?
We always make excuse, like everybody. I did too. I'm like, well, he got knocked out against Ruiz, so that's why he looked bored. And that, next fight he had to do what he had to do to win. It's like, but there's always excuses. You after coming off 2 losses, dude. You needed to make a reason. Like Timmy Bradley said, what reason is he even to watch him fight anymore? If that's what he's going to do against a guy that you got in there to look good against, the guy that you're supposed to stop.
Yeah, no, that pressure, Jimmy. There's too much high expectations for this guy. He can't handle it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. It's the same things for
then you're in the wrong game. Then you know what I mean. Yeah. You're in the wrong game. That's the fucking. And plus, on top of that, dude, he's made so much money. It just gets harder and harder for guys to get themselves in that headspace when you're driving around in a Rolls Royce. You know.
Yeah, could be that. The fuck.
But I think Eddie Hearn would make
more hungry fighters always better. Sorry, brother. Go.
If they didn't try to make the Fury AJ fight, because when is there going to be another chance? Because if you're Eddie Hearn, you have to make this fight. Because if he fights somebody else and he fucking loses, that's it. It's over. At least this fight's for the title.
And Matchroom just invested a lot of money in that kid too. Was it even after the second? Was it right before the fucking Joshua fight? I mean, the first Usyk fight. He signed him for a lifetime contract.
Yeah,
he got him in. Yeah. Like, wow, he must have been bumming.
What else is on the horizon, Pucho? What other fights? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you, Pucho. Yeah. Yeah, and guys, you want to do me a favor, man? Everybody listening, just hit the like button and just write something. It helps with the algorithms. Just write any comment, hit a bunch of X's, a bunch of middle fingers, anything. Just put some emojis in, but it helps with the show, man. You know what I mean? Just if they could do that, these guys put a lot of work in these documentaries, Mr. BDA, and this is these guys. You know, they do this for us. They're not gonna fucking. They have to work a real job too. So, you know, they give us all a place to call and talk boxing. So
I gave you a like, Butcher. I gave you a like. You were into today.
Amazing.
All right.
Thank you.
And just if you could, hold on.
Yeah, in the chat they said they couldn't hear me. Yeah, that's why it was weird, guys. I said the link is in the description if you want to jump in, and in the chat. So there's spots left right now. Anyways, fuck Fury. I don't want to hear about Fury anymore.
Yeah, fuck Fury. I can't stand him. He's a pussy. He's ducking Usyk. And there's nothing else that you could say about
He's one
that
of the
piece
few
of
people
shit.
I just really fucking dislike, like almost hate. I hate those type of people. How he's fucking up things. Usually I don't care, but that motherfucker. I'd love to
And
see
you
him get
know
knocked
what
out,
he
man.
was doing everything he could to not make that fight. He probably thought Usyk would say, "Oh, go fuck yourself, 70-30." But Usyk wasn't going to let him use that as an excuse. So he did whatever he could to not get that fight.
I still had hope because there was people telling me or saying on the internet like, no, this is all negotiation tactics that Fury's implementing. Eventually, he will want to make the fight. He just wants more money. He's playing. What's the expression? He's playing. Anyways, he wants more money, but eventually he will make the fight. And he didn't make the fight. They're moving on. It's over.
Yep, it's gone. And he has a history of this. You know, he did it with Joshua multiple times. It's just he's always fucking playing games.
He knows Usyk is going to fucking whip his ass. That's why. Usyk was going to beat him, and he knows it.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. What do you guys think? So you think, Joe, you think that Usyk was going to beat Fury and Fury's just scared?
Yeah, I think Usyk was going to beat him. I honestly did. Wow. I thought Usyk was going to beat AJ the first fight, and I was right. And I think he'd beat Fury too. I think Usyk is the best pound-for-pound fighter there is right now. I think he's that good.
In the chat, Just Brian, thank you for your contribution. He says, thoughts on Canelo's next fight? John Ryder?
He better look good. Hey, he better look fucking good. If you're picking John Ryder,
what's good in your opinion? So if it's stop, there's no winning with you, Mirage. Because you're always
look, believe it or not, I'm more rational and fair than you actually believe. He doesn't have to stop him, but he has to beat him up. He has to beat him up, beat the fuck out of him.
You're saying that because you're just saying the beating up thing because Benavidez couldn't stop Plant. And now you're, that's what you started. He didn't stop him, but he beat him up. And I remember clearly we talked about this before the Plant Benavidez fight. I asked you, why are you gonna be saying if Plant doesn't stop? If Benavidez doesn't stop Plant, what will you say? You said I'm gonna criticize him. You didn't.
And I did. I was disappointed, but still, at least he put a beating on him in the second half, right? Now, I'm not satisfied. Yes, I wasn't satisfied.
You think 100%. He put a beating on him, Mirage? You think
in the last half of the fight? Beating on him? In the last half. What do you think Plant was holding on for dear life?
Anyways, Canelo's gonna either knock him out. Canelo's not gonna knock out Ryder, or he's gonna beat him up. It's one of those two.
Well, either way, you have to look. Ryder is not Caleb Plant. This guy's right there in the pocket. He's custom made, right? Do you agree, Butcher?
Yeah,
he is a big guy, dude. He is a big guy.
I agree. He's gonna knock him out. He's gonna stop him.
Like, he's a come forward dude. That's the only way he fights. So
let's just say Ryder's got some amazing chin and he's resilient. And if he takes a huge beating, that'll be enough. But it better not be close in some battle, in a war. That'll be embarrassing for fucking Canelo.
Mirage, be honest. You were disappointed with Benavidez.
I just said that 30 seconds ago, you fucking muppet.
We'll say it again. I want to hear it.
He did. I heard him on the record. When the fight was happening. He did say it. He said he actually gave it like a 7.5 performance. That's the same. So he gave it the same thing I did. So he was actually really honest about
terrible. It. Benavidez looked terrible.
And he still had a comfortable, clear victory over a top guy in the division. Okay. So he's fucking amazing then.
Plant sucks. Benavidez should have knocked him out.
Plant's a quality fighter.
Yeah, Plant. My sister hits harder than Plant.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now.
But the thing is, Mirage, before you were saying that Plant was gonna get destroyed, like stopped or all of that. Now, he's a very good fighter.
Fourth round. He picked the fourth round stop.
Yeah, you were dismissing Plant. That's the problem.
Yeah,
your prediction was way off.
Benavidez just ain't the fighter that you thought, Mirage.
Exactly.
No,
you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
And guess what?
Plant was a bit
we all know Benavidez is not going to dare go up to 175.
I realize David is human. He's human after all. He's human.
You got it wrong.
He get his ass with the light heavyweight. We all know that too.
You were way off.
David Benavidez is being hurt by the promotion he's with, but at the same token, they're all doing it now. I mean, his style is a throwback, and styles like that, he needs to fight regularly. He needs to fight 3-4 times a year. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
he would be so much better. He would, because these are the things he's going to learn. Like, he just never faced anybody like Plant. So you can't like face a guy like that and go another whole year before you have to. So it's just doesn't help him. He's being hurt by the fucking scheduling.
He's going to fight in September, but it looks like the standard these days for most fighters is twice a year at best. That's the standard.
At best.
Which is sad. Yeah, it is.
And I'll tell you right now, how Canelo beats Ryder will go a long way to tell us if he's going to fight Benavidez. If he stops John Ryder, I believe he's going to go for Benavidez. If he doesn't, he might not, because I think that's going to tell us where he is in his career right now. I personally think he'll stop him because I'm basing that off. We're going to see a refreshed Canelo. If he doesn't stop him, I'd say maybe two more fights and he retires.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Say if he does. What if he doesn't stop him and he just still dominates and smashes him?
I still think he'd be disappointed. He might act like he's not, but I think he'd be disappointed.
Benavidez in the ring.
I got to make a point.
Benavidez in the ring. After that performance with Plant.
What is this notion that?
Alive.
No, wait, hold on. Time out. See, I'm tired of this bullshit. Why do people keep saying that? Oh, he's going to destroy Benavidez. What good fighter has Canelo ever dominated and destroyed?
I mean, I give you the names, you're gonna dismiss them. I mean, what do you mean?
Ahead, I mean, what? You're gonna pull Kirkland out your ass?
He destroyed Plant.
He did not destroy Plant. That was a competitive fight until the knockout.
Yeah, who said?
Hold on. Okay, wow.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, give me an this is so
give
weird.
me an Arturo Gotti, Floyd Mayweather type beating.
Yeah,
that
you're too young.
You're
too young. Gotti, I mean, I respect Gotti. He wasn't a pound for pound boxer or anything. He wasn't.
Okay, Corrales.
This is so stupid. It's so stupid.
10 pounds, 10 years past his prime too.
When Floyd fans bring up Gotti, I know they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. When they bring up Gotti, you don't know shit.
No, look, you're getting your feelings. Forget Corrales. Forget Gotti. Give me a performance. No, let me finish.
What did he do to Kovalev? What did he do? Dude,
that guy was like 100 years old.
Okay, so all right, let's look at Canelo's big fight. Let's look at
Joe Saunders. He shouted. He stopped Billy Joe Saunders, who had never been down.
Billy Joe Saunders is not a great fighter.
Yes, he is.
But let me finish. Let me finish my question.
With a punch. We're talking about a beat, just a domination and a beatdown.
All right, Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto wasn't a great fight. Of course,
what about Miguel? The excuses are going. There's always excuses.
So easily,
Miguel Cotto.
I'm disappointed in you.
Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto. What are you gonna say?
He's a great fighter.
We're gonna go through the list, guys. We're gonna Joe. We're gonna go through the list, and you're gonna see there's always an excuse. We're gonna go through the list. So Miguel Cotto.
That was a close fight. That was a competitive fight.
That wasn't a domination.
He dominated.
Honestly, I don't think. I think Cotto didn't even try. I think Cotto made one attempt to actually.
It's a unanimous fucking decision win. Come on. Austin Trout at the time.
Cotto looked rejuvenated in that fight. That's how much of a beatdown that was. They thought
Cotto looked moving up from weight. He knocked out Kirkland.
No, Butcher already fucked up.
Oh my god!
What do you mean?
You got me, bro. You know what? I'm done. I'm defeated.
No, the point is he's going up in weight.
This standard is.
Oh my god, Kirkland.
Yeah,
okay.
So what's Rarebreed? So you're comparing him to Floyd, right? That's what you were trying to do here. That's the standard.
Yeah, since he's so great.
Okay. So what if he's not at the level of Floyd? What does that mean?
Even if what's
the point? See, you're just trying to bring up Floyd all the time because you love sucking Floyd's cock. Because you love Floyd so much, you gotta bring him up all the time because he's irrelevant now. He disappeared. Hold on. Rarebreed. Floyd has disappeared from history. Nobody cares about him. He was so fucking boring. So you have to revive him. You have to revive him every opportunity you can to bring him up and remind us that he existed. Because we have moved on. We have moved on. We've forgotten about this motherfucker. He destroyed the sport.
Not the GOAT.
So he has to go. It's over. You cannot stop trying to. He's dead. He's gone.
The reason I'm saying this, look, how can you say he's going to destroy Benavidez? This man has never destroyed any decent level fighter in his whole career.
Who said destroyed Benavidez?
This guy on the panel, I don't know his name.
I don't remember hearing anybody saying it. That's all. I didn't hear him say it.
Who's the guy speaking before you?
when he
Bucho, the
fights
other
top
guy.
fighters, he
So what?
struggles. They're competitive fights. That's a fact.
Well, I'll give you an example, Jimmy. Low IQ says that all the time. Ring IQ, whatever his fucking name is. Oh, Canelo's going to destroy Benavidez. Yeah, okay. He's never destroyed anybody that's half decent.
Why do you call him low IQ? That fucking dude knows his boxing.
No, he
Yeah,
doesn't. He hates Benavidez so much. He's blind to the fact that he doesn't deserve a Canelo fight just because, for whatever reason. I don't know why he has against Benavidez.
You don't give Canelo any points for moving up and waiting, fighting all these guys. You don't give him any points.
It's pure hate, Joe. Joe, it's hate.
That's not the question. The thing is, you're saying he's going to dominate Benavidez.
No, you just said low IQ. I don't know why you said that, because if I remember correctly, dude, he can't give you a working over when you're on his channel. So coming over here to call him low IQ is a little low rent.
Of course you're going to say that because you agree with his points, and not to mention I was outnumbered
I don't agree with all his points at all.
Fanboys.
No, of course we're fanboys because everybody. You're the only person who takes your stance. And ring IQ, you can say what you want, but the dude worked you, had you fucking stammering. Bottom line, that's a fact. And I don't agree with all his fucking things. Him and I pick different fighters all the time. But that dude knows what the fuck he's talking about. And you can't give him his credit because he banged you out, dude. Of course he's an idiot because he took you to school. The shit you were saying, he did. Dude, you want to go back and fucking watch it? Go back and watch it. Anybody can go back and fucking, it's up on his channel. Dude, come on, the fuck out of here, dude, with that.
I want to watch it. What's the video called?
Anyways,
I want to watch it. What's the video
the dude, listen, people respect that kid. There's other professional fighters who go on his channel. He's got fucking Donaire calling his channel. He's got all kinds of professional fighters calling his channel. Steve Kim calls his channel, but he's a low IQ to rare breed because he fucking likes...
whatever. Who cares?
Steve Kim was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he steps away from boxing. Let that fester in your hate for a while, dude. I'll tell you what. Go shave your head, go make a fist, and go back to your militant school.
All right, let's keep talking about
lost me with Steve Kim. Here we go.
All right, let's get back to this debate. Let's get back to the boxing. Let's get back to the boxing debate here about Canelo.
You didn't answer my question, Bucho.
You're scared.
Well, you're not answering us.
Well, Rarebit wants to tell us. Okay, so let's get back to Rarebit's question. That's this very serious question. Who has Canelo stopped the way Floyd stopped Corrales? I guess, right?
No, that wasn't.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. Who has he stopped? Dominant. Yes.
Well, no. God damn it. Let me finish my point so I can ask him. So my point is, what dominant win on Canelo's resume does he have over another great fighter, like similar to how Pacquiao destroyed De La Hoya and other great fighters?
And you said Floyd Corrales. Hold on. And you said Floyd Corrales. So I was correct, right?
Yeah. And
so why are you fucking telling me to stop
too.
talking? I got the fucking question.
And Canelo.
All right. So
what?
And because
Floyd dominated Canelo.
All right. So because Canelo hasn't stopped anybody in that way, in your opinion, so there's no way he can stop Benavidez.
No, it doesn't have to be a stoppage, just a dominant victory where it was an outclass.
Kovalev.
It's irrelevant.
That wasn't a dominant victory. Kovalev was winning on the cards before he got stopped.
It's impossible, Rarebit, right? That's what you're saying? Because
he knocked him out.
It's a different fighter. It's a different
so what? He knocked him out. You can still be losing a fight on the cards and knock somebody out.
He dominated fucking Smith. The kid right now who's looked great in every fight since that fight.
Callum Smith. That's the best name.
Doesn't matter. He still dominated the kid twice his size.
Yeah, that should tell you all you need to know about Canelo.
Domination. That was probably his best.
And he also beat Joe Saunders, a 6-year pro. A 6-year champion.
Moved up on.
Billy Joe Saunders was a nobody super middleweight.
He's a nobody.
He's a fucking nobody.
I know. He only fought the boogeyman in boxing, Triple G, and beat him twice.
Let's play this ridiculous game that's completely.
G, so that doesn't count.
Okay. Rarebit, when has Benavidez fought somebody like Canelo?
Never. When I could answer that for him. Never. He hasn't.
Well,
I don't even like Canelo.
So we can play this game, Rarebit. We can play this game where we based on some conjectures. It's all conjectures. They're gonna, if they fight, they'll fight. We'll see what happens. But
you're moving the goalposts, Bucho.
No,
I don't know why.
Well, he never stopped any. So therefore, he can't.
That's not what I said, Bucho. You see, now you're putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, dominate, stop, whatever. The domination. It's a very vague word. What's domination?
No, I asked you very specifically. Where is this idea where Canelo is going to destroy Benavidez when he's never destroyed any great fighter?
You are the one that loves the eye test. You love the eye test. That's what you said. You applied to Shakur Stevenson when you rated him so highly. It's based on the eye test. So there's some people that, based on the eye test, believe that Canelo might dominate Benavidez. I'm not saying I agree, but I'm saying it's what they're saying. So you have to accept
it. And I'm saying, who has he ever dominated?
But he has dominated fighters. But I'm
talking about anybody that's actually good.
But then the thing is, he has dominated boxers, but he hasn't dominated boxers that you consider elite, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
well, that's your opinion.
In that second fight,
you consider Callum Smith elite?
Callum Smith is
yes.
Today's fighters, amongst today's fighters,
absolutely. That's a good one. That's a good one here. He was a champion, winner of the World Boxing Super Series tournament. Absolutely.
By the time he was 30 years old, he's won 15 real world titles, Ring Magazine champion in fucking 3 divisions, Ring Magazine lineal champion in 3 different weight divisions. He's 5'8". He started at 140. He's he's got the most accomplishments of any fighter fighting today, and he's got the best resume. But you're sitting there going to pick him apart because who has he ever dominated? That's fucking. But then everybody, okay. But then you say, then if we could turn around and say, okay, what fighters do you like fighting today? And they haven't even fought nobody as good as Callum Smith.
Jimmy, this was all. He brought up this issue just to bring up Floyd's name.
I think Canelo
that was the whole point.
Manny Pacquiao beat the shit out of Cotto.
Bring Floyd back from the dead.
That's a dominant victory over a great fighter.
Jimmy, do you agree with that? Canelo's had a more impressive career than Mayweather?
What?
I would.
He's won and better. Floyd never unified a division ever.
Yeah, he's never even been a unified champion.
There was guys he ducked.
No.
He absolutely he got a robbery win back in 2003. He came back and beat the dude, but he absolutely lost that fight. But he lost that fight. Doesn't matter. You just said that about Canelo. You just said, but he lost that first fight against Triple G. You just held out against Canelo
and Lara.
Hey, he didn't lose that fight against Lara. You're out of your fucking mind. Listen, let's stick on that. You just said not 3 minutes ago, what? No, you can't. Well, he lost that fight to Triple G, so there. Okay, well, Mayweather lost to Castillo.
People said that.
No, everybody said
You're
that.
You're one of those people, by the way.
No, everybody, the announcers, other fighters, you don't remember. You weren't even watching boxing then, dude. Yeah. I was watching, and I was a Floyd, back when it was when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, I was a huge fucking fan, and I've been on this channel many times talking about how big of a fan I was. I used to go to see his fights live. I was such a big fan, because he was a completely different fighter. He was an aggressive, he put on, I say still, one of the best boxing performances I've ever seen in my life against that fucking tall kid, albeit he was weight trained, but doesn't matter. Floyd that was about as best as I've ever seen a kid fight. So nobody can tell me I'm a fucking Floyd hater, because I'm not. But he lost that fight. He lost that fight. End of story.
You know Mayweather has never been a unified champion, right? You know that, right? Undisputed. He's never been an undisputed champion. You know that, right?
He's fought better people than Canelo.
By the way, 5-year-old Oscar De La Hoya, I mean,
he was 34.
34 years old, dude. He was a fucking. What was this? Look at the fucking wars he was in. I mean, Trinidad. Are you kidding me?
By the way,
34 years old then, dude. He was. That's 30. You're gone. when you fight the career he had.
Jimmy, let me just say something. Let me say something, guys. Jimmy, I have a question here. I have a question for but hold on. That in the chat, that guy is saying Danny Jacobs was a good win, definitely to me, underrated a lot. That's a good win for Canelo, right? That Jacobs win. Now, I'm gonna ask Redbreed, if Canelo beats Benavidez, if Canelo beats Benavidez,
he won every round.
Okay,
he won every round.
Joe. If Canelo beats fucking Benavidez the way he beat Jacobs, is that a domination?
No, but it'll be a good win regardless. I'll give him credit for that.
It's not a domination.
I'll give him credit if Canelo
dominated. Not every other fight.
I'll give Canelo credit for just taking the fight.
So what's the domination? Is a beatdown, basically, right?
And listen, if you want to come from
like,
what's a domination? No, I want to know. I want to know what the fuck a domination is in your opinion.
Like, well, basically, the other fighter has no moments during the fight where it's a complete wash.
A complete wash. So European
like
Canelo,
Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, or Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yo.
Yeah, what's up, Big Sayo?
Big say so. Yeah, no, it's 150, man. Salute, man. Look, I came in, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm not a Floyd fan. You know, I don't really like Mayweather, to be honest. You know, but I heard you guys say he never unified. He did against Pacquiao, though.
No, he was the unified. We're saying he was never undisputed.
He was never undisputed. Never won all the belts in one division.
Yeah.
You guys said unified.
So I guess Devin Haney's better than him too.
You guys said
doesn't matter. There's a reason why he didn't, and there's a reason why he fought at a catch weight. He avoided fucking divisions.
He did unify though. He unified the WBC and WA belt, bro.
Yeah,
but that's unified. We're talking about undisputed. I might have said unified, but it's undisputed. Is what I was talking about.
You guys didn't say undisputed. You said unified. I literally
No, he's undisputed. He was undisputed. Come on.
So we made a mistake in a word,
bro. He
We
wasn't undisputed.
admitted. Yeah, we never. That's all. Yeah, never was undisputed.
Wasn't undisputed either. And I'm a Pacquiao fan. I like Pacquiao.
Hey, that's not even the crazy part. They're trying to argue that Canelo had a better career than Floyd. How?
Never said that. That's what
I said. That man, you're just making shit up, man.
You also said that Costello
playing the victim.
You also said that fight he lost.
He was out, but he would never undisputed if you're not trying to argue against him. Who cares?
You bring up Floyd every fucking time, man. That's your fucking
time.
He's gone. He's gone.
Debating Sweet Pea
Thank
versus
the Lord.
Floyd. Hold on, we all debating Sweet Pea versus Floyd because Sweet Pea was undisputed. Is that the argument? That was the argument.
No, Canelo.
Not even. That wasn't even the argument either. I don't know what you guys are talking about, man.
All I heard was unified, Sweet Pea, Mayweather. That's all I heard, bro. And that's why I came up here.
Oh, let's make it about Floyd. Let's make it about Floyd. Floyd destroyed the sport of boxing. His style was shit. The only reason why he was popular was because there was Pacquiao, who had a parallel career, and everybody was talking about the potential fight. And once they had that fight, nobody cared about Floyd. He fought Berto in his farewell fight. Nobody watched that shit. That's how much they love Floyd. That's how much they love that guy.
He ducked Pacquiao for how long? 5 years?
I agree. Yeah, he should have fought Pacquiao 2009, 2010.
And you know why?
He would have beat him anyways.
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
Of course, you're gonna say that.
And then there'd be more excuses like usual.
Of course, no. He never fought him, so we'll never know, Rebby. That's the mistake Floyd made.
It's not like Pacquiao had already lost before 2009 anyways.
Yeah, he did. He lost in 2003, but he got a robbery decision. It doesn't matter, though. You can say that because people whose opinion are respected in the sport, writers, fucking Jim Lampley, everybody that night was like, whoa, okay.
Those motherfuckers can be wrong too, Jimmy. They're not perfect.
Hold on. Rare breed.
They're not the be and end all.
2009. He didn't lose in 2009.
Neither are you. You're not the end all be all either.
I didn't say I was, but I'm saying that just because they have an opinion, I can't have one.
Well, all right. Well, nobody's saying you can't have your opinion, dude, but listen to what he's saying. He's talking about people that are respected in the sport. That's all he's saying, dude. He's speaking facts. You're just speaking your opinion.
I'm just saying that they can be wrong.
Hey, I've been listening to you guys for 3 hours, or however long. I'm like, that's all he's trying to point out, though, dude. Like, we're not saying nothing, but you're not saying shit, though. For like, if I'm being honest, but whatever.
Why are we even
You know
talking about
Floyd is still
Floyd
that guy.
Mayweather
Look how emotional people get when Floyd is brought up.
Wait, hold on, bro.
Floyd doesn't make people emotional, dude. You do.
Yeah, he does.
Your hypocrisy, your fucking double standards.
Needs to bring
Agreed. Is
Floyd.
what gets people fucking riled up.
They can't forget. They will never. They can't forget about Floyd. They can't. It's so funny because it's funny because it's funny because most boxing fans have moved on. We've
Which
left
ones?
that
You
period.
mean there's a certain
that period
demographic that has moved on.
The nightmare.
Oh, once
the nightmare that was Floyd's career. It was a nightmare.
His last fight at the O2, nobody showed up. They were going to call it. Nobody showed up. Nobody bought it. Nobody showed up. Literally, there was more employees in the arena than fans. People have moved on from Floyd Mayweather. That dude is gone, retired, irrelevant.
Hey, Rare Breed, that guy didn't lose in 2009, 2010, bro. He didn't lose.
I didn't say that. Somebody else did.
He was on a tear, bro. He beat fucking De La Hoya, Hatton, Cotto. He was on a fucking tear at that time, bro.
It was in his prime.
That was prime back
like
then.
Morales. And Morales is a great fighter, but I don't think Flo would have lost to a guy like Morales, or he wouldn't have been competitive.
I don't know.
Morales is a Floyd.
That's a strong statement, Jimmy.
Floyd versus Margarita was a great fight.
Talent.
That's a strong statement. That's only applies to certain fighters. Like Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Ray Leonard. You gonna put Morales in that category?
Morales was awesome. Morales was.
He didn't even watch Morales fight. He didn't watch Morales fight.
Yeah, I did.
No, on YouTube.
We have YouTube, Bucho. You should try using it sometime.
I don't know, Rare Breed. Styles make fights.
You didn't even follow his career. That it is when the fact that you brought up Gaddy's name against Floyd, you didn't even remember. You just watch it on YouTube. You don't even remember. You don't know the context. Which fights Gaddy had before that fight?
In 2002, I was like what?
Randomly watched the fight.
3 years old.
You just
what do you want me to say?
randomly watched the fight. What's the question?
I would have been like 3 years old at that time, so of course I
okay,
didn't
well
watch
that's
it
too
live.
bad. That's too bad. You don't understand the context. All right, so you're just bringing up names, and you think you know what you're talking about, and you think you
my age
think
that I don't
you know what
control.
you're talking about. You don't. All right.
At least I had the temerity to go back and do the research and watch these fights.
Well, you didn't do the research.
No, you
because
didn't.
You didn't do the research.
I did.
It was a terrible research. You have to do the research again.
I was saying, give me a performance
F.
like that Floyd had on Gotti that Canelo's had, where he just beat the shit out of somebody.
Hey, go watch it. Gotti. Nobody. When people hold on, when people talk about when people talk about De La Hoya, they never bring up the Gotti win.
Even Oscar
De La Hoya also beat up Gotti. I mean, seriously, man, you know what you're talking about.
Oscar De La Hoya didn't duck anybody. He's a way better fighter than Canelo. It's not even close. Better resume, better fighter, better everything.
We can debate it. I don't know what the point is.
The
point is you just want to diminish Canelo's career. You want to compare it to all these other fighters.
He's overrated.
You want to compare it to Floyd. You want to compare it to Pacquiao. You want to compare it to De La Hoya's career. All in a pathetic attempt.
He's not on that level. I'm sorry.
Pathetic attempt to destroy Canelo.
There's a reason why Canelo's the face of boxing, bro. There's a reason why.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah.
Fail. People in the chat saying you failed, man.
As a fan, I like the fight. As a fan, I like the fight, but Gotti had a shitload of wars and was shot to bits from Floyd.
Oh yeah, he was I respect Gotti, but he wasn't. He wasn't an elite fighter. I mean, he was a warrior. He was a contender. He was a contender, but you know.
He was hanging out with fucking Mike Tyson back in 1990, for Christ's sake. That's how long he was around.
Oh, fucking Christ.
He was already shooting heroin on the streets. He got clean, came back, but started fucking drinking heavily again. It was drinking and doing coke literally weeks before that Mayweather fight.
It's true. He was... Yeah, there's story. Actually, I heard stories from when he was in Montreal and shit. People who trained with him, and that was in the late '80s and stuff like that. So I mean, this guy has been. We're talking about that Floyd fight that took place in what?
He took that Floyd fight for the money. That's the only reason why he took that fight. He knew he was going to lose. He told Mickey he was going to lose badly. That's why he was still doing coke and drinking. He didn't even take it serious. He knew he was.
So he told you or Mickey?
No, he told Mickey. Mickey was like, "Why are you taking that fight?" He goes, "Dude, the bank." Because Mickey was like, yeah, all right, dude, because he knew it wasn't going to be a good matchup for him. He was too old and he was wasted. He was a fucking shell of himself.
Well, I mean, Kovalev was too, and Canelo wasn't doing much with him.
But he was twice Canelo's size. Fucking
we're gonna start
Arturo
attacking
Gatti
Floyd.
fought his whole career at 135, 140.
Has Canelo always fought in one location like Floyd did, and have the same referee the whole time, or most of the time? Kenny Bailey.
The padding, has to have the padding his way. The fucking gloves had to be. He wouldn't let people use horsehair gloves. Are you kidding me?
It's pathetic.
I mean, he could if he wanted to.
Ray is now thinking about something to say.
No, I gotta say that was an end all right there. You try to wear horsehair gloves, fight was off. End of story. He didn't allow people to use punches gloves.
Oh my god, pathetic.
He had his referee that allowed clinching. Please. He had it his way. The Money Man is a completely different fucking fighter than the kid who fought on HBO 23 times. Pretty Boy. That was when he was at his fucking deadliest.
Yeah.
Two different
fighters.
Yeah, Pretty Boy was a monster.
The IV rehydration. Little Maki saying in the chat, the IV rehydration. IV shots.
That's crazy too, man. That's better than any steroid you can take, without a doubt. That's because what you want to do is, guys, the night before after you weigh in, you can't take. Everybody says, "Oh, those come in super heavy." You put on too much weight, it fucks you up. You got to take it in slowly. Listen, you guys ever see like fucking Band of Brothers? Remember when they were like they freed the Jews and the doc's like, no, don't give it. You can't just give them all this cheese, and you can't just give them too much food at once. It's a shock to the system. It's that on a different type of level. Like you don't want to do that to the body. So what you really want to do is have your fighter like wake up every 2 hours, 3 hours, and eat a jar of Prolana raw fruit. Shit like that, just carb them up, but light carbs.
Okay,
and fucking, what did Mayweather do? He took an IV.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's insane.
Illegal.
That's like fucking. There's nothing more you can do for an advantage after a weigh-in than put your arm and stick an IV in your arm. Fucking carbohydrates right into the blood system.
Jimmy, we have multiple reasons, a large amount of reasons as to why we hate Floyd. Okay, but I want to hear why Rare Breed doesn't like Canelo.
What I don't like Canelo?
Yes, Rare Breed.
Who do I start?
Go ahead, start anywhere.
Bothersome. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected. Go ahead, I can hear you.
Okay, why I don't like Canelo? So where do I start? One, he's overrated by his fans. A huge section of his racist ass Mexican fans, I don't like them. So for that reason, I can't rock with him. I'm just telling the truth. You asked me, and I'm answering your question.
All right. Fair enough. Let's believe that there's a bunch of racist Mexicans. Coming from the African American.
You can know them. You're on their page all the time.
It's coming from the African American community. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Okay. See, there you go. That's my point. You're part of that. What's the
point? It's true. If you look at the LDBC.
But anyways, before I was so rudely interrupted.
Go ahead.
Like I said, I don't like his racist ass Mexican fans. Mm-hmm. I remember the comments they were making before the Floyd Canelo fight in 2014. I remember all the little.
All right, dude, we heard the point already. Carry on with the other point in your list.
They're still playing the victim. Because I'll bring some racist stuff too. I'll bring some racist stuff too. Go ahead.
Yo, speak on the fans that are here, not the ones that you've seen, because we could say.
Oh no, they're here too. They're in the chat.
They're in the chat. Oh my god,
they're in the chat. All right, they're definitely here.
You're stuck with the racist bullshit, man. Move on from the race. I know you love it. I know you love the race talk.
I know it's on before you.
I know you love the race talk, but move on. What other thing you dislike about Canelo?
Oh, and not to mention he's a cheater.
Yeah, you're a Floyd fan.
Floyd took an IV fan, dude.
You're an idiot.
He got caught with an IV, clenbuterol, and let's make no mistake, he's cheating. The amount of clenbuterol he had, first off, is conducive with meat, and I can post hundreds of articles from 2011 on about the fucking the U.S. the NFL put out a warning in 2013: do not eat meat when you're in Mexico, because they use so much clenbuterol. The government, the Mexican government, last month had to pass a law to change the fucking rules down there because it's so bad how much clenbuterol's in the meat. And another thing, he wouldn't take clenbuterol. He's a multimillionaire. I'm not saying he's clean, but if he did drugs, he went to Germany and had growth hormone and shit like that. He didn't take clenbuterol, and he was found innocent on that because the amounts in a fucking blood test showed it was conducive with fucking contaminated meat, not oral form. And it wouldn't be a drug he would even take. Whereas Floyd was taken in IV, was caught by the VADA system. Walked in, they're like, what are you doing? He's got a camo bag hanging from a...
Only one person was suspended.
No, listen, how dare you sit there and call him a cheater for fucking clenbuterol, which he was cleared on, but when I say fucking Floyd got caught with the ultimate cheat, an IV bag in his fucking vein the night before the Pacquiao fight.
Which one? Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
Which one of them was suspended? Which one of them was suspended?
What? Floyd would have been if they didn't hide the evidence until after the fight. What are you gonna play a clown on this dude? He got caught with a fucking IV in his vein. The ultimate cheat the night before the Pacquiao fight.
You have to flush all that shit out.
Plus all the injection marks from the human growth hormone injections in his abs. You want me to post a picture of him standing elbows up next to John Bones?
All right, Jimmy, we're going to move on. He won't accept it. He won't accept it. Whatever we say.
But I made my point, and I made my...
Yes, all right. Let's break down those points.
You spoke about your feelings. You mentioned racist Mexican fans, when there's a whole community of black people, literally hundreds of channels.
Well, there you go. That's why I don't
about race. But seriously, dude, for you to sit there and say the racist Mexican fans, like, holy mother of fucking God, self-awareness.
I laughed my ass off.
Stop pandering, Jimmy.
The most ridiculous thing.
Pandering. I know, because a white guy can't be honest about Mexicans. Because as a white guy, I can see
what platform you are on. You're pandering.
Completely hypocritical.
Okay.
Hypocritical.
Hypocrite, dude. No, I'm not dumb, dude. I know, and I'm done. The Lions Den boxing community with 200,000 followers. Go listen to their shit. Listen to the vile racist shit they spew nonstop about everyone who doesn't fucking share their ethnicity. Right. Are you fucking kidding me? One of them said there's over 2,000 videos, anti-LDBC videos out about us. Really? You're gonna ask yourself why that is? Please.
Well, Jimmy, I think it's ironic you bring them up, but you have no smoke for the CCD.
I never even heard of the CCD. What is it?
Why don't you explain who that is, Bucho? Tell Jimmy what the CCD is.
I'm being honest. I never even heard of them. What's the CCD?
Well, what's the CCD? It's a group of Mexican. It's a channel. See, this is the thing.
And what do they say on there, Bucho? Tell the truth.
It's not a community. It's one channel.
What do they say? They say a lot of things. This is the thing with...
And Bucho's on there, by the way. He's on there.
Let me explain.
Like a little schoolgirl agreeing with their racist-ass talking points.
No, I go there and I present my points. There's people that say like outrageous things, but that's what they want to say. That's their point. That's the thing. I don't believe in censorship. I don't believe in censorship. And by the way, I don't put everybody in the same basket.
If you don't agree with those racist points, why are you on their channel?
Let me finish. I would love to go to an LBC channel, but they block my fucking ass because they can debate. They're fucking pussies, man. As soon as you show up, they fucking block you. And you know this. And you're not telling the truth.
That's not true.
I've been to the CCD. They actually allow black ass racists over there, and they were spewing a bunch of fucking racist stuff, and they allowed them to fucking just rant. They don't give a shit. They allow anybody over there, unlike the LDBC. And by the way, the LDBC is 10 times, 100 times bigger than whatever you consider racist on the Mexican side. 100 times. I guarantee
everybody in the LDBC is 100 times to the extreme. That's crazy. That's like saying every Republican is a alt-right Nazi or something.
The LDBC community is so big. It's kind of the LDBC community is so large.
Not every single LDBC member is the same, man. I'm not part of the LDBC, whatever the fuck that is.
The United States is dealing with. This is what's happening in the. This is
the largest boxing community in the YouTube. There's over 200 different channels. Some guys have 200,000 subscribers. Listen, no disrespect to CDCD. I just went to it. 11,000 fucking subscribers. One channel. That's what you're comparing to the LDBC.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
My point.
Yeah, but here's the difference, Jimmy. Those LDBC channels, except for like a few, but like the big ones like Ego and even Dante's Boxing Nations, they're not calling Mexican people beaners and wetbacks and all kinds of like.
Oh yeah, look at
that CCD channel. They're doing that type of shit. They have pictures of black people being hanged. They've got black people carrying a bucket of chicken at Earl Spence, and they take memes.
All right, let me show you a picture that there's Drew Titan. That's his name, right?
Drew Titan's got like 2,000 subscribers. He's a nobody.
Now you don't want to talk about Drew Titan. I'm posting a picture.
We're talking about bigger channels, right?
Drew Titan. I have a picture right here. Everybody can see it on the screen on YouTube.
Dude, all the ones you just named are fucking lame, biased.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fucking racist. What the fuck you mean?
This is pathetic, man. I can't take you seriously.
Dante's Boxing Nation on Twitter. His nickname is on Twitter, boxing Twitter. Dante's Racist Nation. That get hashtag is always. I see it all the time. I always see it. People always going at it.
And by the way,
that's 78 Sports.
Jimmy,
that motherfucker was the black militant.
And by the way, I'm not surprised that a channel like the CCD exists after all these times, after all these years. Somebody's gonna step up and fight back. That's logical, Rabbit. It's a logical conclusion that people are gonna fight back. And after all these years of abuse from the LDBC, there's somebody stepping up. And you don't like it. And
it's ironic you say that. Because that's the same exact reason why the LDBC was created.
No, okay.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's the person
Which channels? Hold on. Which channels were they fighting back against?
It wasn't channels. It was mostly the vitriol and the hatred that black fighters were getting.
That you make up. That's the thing. It's a lie, right? But you know it's not even true. You can't even.
So you don't think Filipino fans were calling Floyd a monkey and all kinds of shit?
Filipino. So that's why the LDBC showed up because of
black people call each other monkeys. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you're pathetic, man.
So when Floyd was sitting there saying, "I'm gonna go have some Chinese food. I'm gonna go eat some dog and some cat." And he said a bunch of shit too. So guys get at each other.
He got vitriol for that, as he should. He deserved to get vitriol for that. But let's not act like
people will say shit, man. That's anecdotal and shit.
Jimmy,
78 Sports got 80,000 subscribers. That dude fucking despises anybody outside of ethnicity.
I know, Jimmy. Let's analyze what Rebri said. The LDBC was created to fight back against who? The Filipinos? And some other obscure groups that you can even point to. So some people, somebody in the comment section said something racist, so the LDBC had to fight back.
No. The LDBC was created for people like you, Bucho.
Yeah, okay. What was I doing? I was in the chat writing racist stuff about black people, and then the LDBC
for whatever reason, every single day you're on the Renaissance Discord. You're always posting negative posts about black people. Like I've seen that.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your mind? I'm not even posting anything about.
You do that shit. I see it.
Rebrit, you are a complete liar. Anybody can go to the.
And you're on that show.
That's a complete.
Post shit about politics. I follow him on Discord.
I don't even post anything about blacks or anything like that. Stop lying, Rebrit. No, jeez, about blacks? Actually, I was posting something that was defending black people in Africa because I post about geopolitical stuff. I don't post anything related to blacks and black crime or statistics or anything like that. You're out of your mind. Okay. You're lying.
Even then, have this guy bring the proof. And dude, honestly, man, you sound so fucking delusional, dude. Like, I don't even know why the fuck you're saying the shit you're saying, man.
Yeah.
You really
you're calling me a racist. When I allow anybody on this channel, I allow anybody to jump in anyways. Like I can be.
Well, you don't want to see.
And by the
way, we're having an honest discussion here, Bucho.
We are having another. But you're lying here. And by the way, you're trying to deviate from the point that we're trying to establish here: the creation of the LDBC and who was responsible for its creation. All right.
Well, I'm just going off what the creator said. He said that the reason why they created
you want to believe those fuckers?
The hate that Floyd was getting on the internet back in the mid to late 2000s.
And you believe them?
I mean, I do believe because I still see hate for black fighters now.
Okay. Wow. This is the thing. This is the victim. This is the victim mentality. This leads you to this actually.
If Jimmy calls out that
this is hate for Loma, this hate for black fighters. Listen, it's a fucking. Some people get a little heated up. I personally don't understand it, man. I've just never looked at fighters by their race. My favorite fighter in all time. I used to go watch him just to hit the headlock.
I know. We posted a million times, Jimmy.
I know. So I don't fucking disrespect me, you prick. Don't come at me like that.
I'm not trying to disrespect you, but
I'm just saying I don't understand that fucking mindset. This isn't where boxing was. Listen, you got to understand when he always, I know the narrative is everybody was racist against Muhammad Ali when the country was 90% white. All right, Jimmy. Beloved.
Yeah, yes. Jimmy. Let's not go back to the 70s. Let me just give the.
No, I know. I'm just saying it's just that narrative.
I understand, Jimmy. It's a great point. In 2012, I started listening to boxing channels on YouTube because before I didn't use YouTube for boxing commentate. What do you call it? Like people who talk about boxing. And I actually listened to 78 Sports. I thought he was just a guy talking boxing. And then I started to realize, what is he like? He started to make it really racial, and that's when I started to find out, that boxing is really racial. Before that, I didn't give a shit. Of course,
it's the most racist sport ever.
I supported Mexican boxers, because I was born in Mexico. I'm Mexican, so it was never to that. Like, it never got to that point, like where the LDBC takes it. They take it to the next level, and I was so naive, man. I was listening to 78 Sports. I didn't see him as he's a black guy. Just some guy talking boxing, and I realized this guy's. That's why when you start saying that there's all this racist in boxing and the LDBC was created because of that, it's complete bullshit. They started it.
Okay. I got a question for you. If you think there's black people out there that hate Lomachenko and these other non-black fighters, is it impossible to imagine that there might be white or Mexican people out there that hate black fighters for the same exact reasons?
No, it's not impossible. But I'll tell you what, and this is based on my experience. They don't like the LDBC fans, man. They don't like them at all. And by the way, some of these boxers actually acknowledge the existence of the LDBC, and they jump on their shows and they spew the same bullshit, like Wilder, like Haney, other boxers, and so. It's on another level. These boxers actually acknowledge
the only professional fighters who actually try to make it racial constantly are black Americans, not black Africans, not blacks from fucking Europe. Black Americans, for whatever reason, they have to fight. Well, and you can understand why the culture's pushing it. They see the TV. Somebody put out a video there, Wild. I was shocked. Like, I didn't know all the shit he said. Said a bunch of it's like a 2-minute video of one after another shit that fucking dude did and said. Then you got even fucking the dude Lomachenko fought. It was my melanin. Like, people don't understand that. That's what. Look at any sport out there. He emphasized that word. Any sport out there, and look who's dominating. It's people with melanin. It's like, imagine just Lomachenko saying that. No black boy's going to beat me. Look at who's dominating. White people. Like, their mindset doesn't go there. But what I'm saying, who's saying it? Black American fighters. And then their fans make a fucking community because they have to endure the racism. But yet, the only people spewing race, talking about race, are black American fighters. And again, not black African fighters at all, ever. You never hear them say it.
I mean, there's only so many of them.
You gotta admit that the LDBC is the root of the problem. The LDBC is the root of this problem. They started this on the YTBC, and now you have the CCD, one channel with 5,000 subscribers, and you're making a big deal out of it, and you're making it as if that's the reason why the LDBC was created. Come on, it's a new channel, anyways, compared to these other channels.
It's clear for them that they make money off that. They make money off race bait. And that's all it is. That's all it's ever been.
That's a white rapper dude, right?
Exactly, 100%.
Dude. That dude. Yeah, what rapper is a racist piece of shit? Listen, I'm just fucking. They like to tear it up. There's no doubt about it, man. And you know what? And I heard them talk about it one night, and they said, and I'll tell you to Bucho's point, and this is what I heard when I went on and listened to that because BDA was on once. And they were saying, like, they get tired of fucking just the LDBC cutting them up.
It's a reactionary.
I don't know any black boxing channel that basically their whole platform is to just talk about Mexican people all day, call them beaners and all types of shit. I don't know if there is these points to this channel. That's what that channel does.
All right, let's hear BDA then.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to what rap. They're not talking about black people all the time. Like, the other day we were having a very fruitful conversation about. You can come up with whatever percentages you want, but they don't do that. They don't spend the whole fucking time talking about black people. We don't, because I jump on the panel sometimes, and the other day we were talking about religion, and then another point we're talking about 9/11. So I mean, it's just it's a plethora of subjects. It's a think tank, is what I like to call it. But in regards to Mayweather. You can't claim racism white people dislike. Are there some people that dislike him because he was black? Probably. I mean, there's people out there that hate bald people. There's people out there that hate people who have acne. I mean, even fucking Randy Newman made a whole song about short people. So there's always going to be some psycho that hates somebody because of a specific trait. But that being said, Mayweather, and you've said this before in the past, the reason why he tried to play up the bad guy angle is because he wanted to try to be a heel to try to get more viewers. So if he's trying to do that and he's trying to piss people off, then you can't say, oh my God, why do people hate him? Because that was his intention. That was his mission. Can't have it both ways.
Yep. And now black people don't like Mayweather because you see the shit he says? He says stuff like fucking, he's out against, like, he says things all the time. He's one of those contrarian type dudes. I'm saying the word wrong, but he always likes to, he likes to take the opposite view. That's how he is. He likes to fire people up.
I don't know what Floyd believes. One moment he's pro-black, next moment he's all lives matter. So I don't really care about Floyd's political views.
Well, I'm just saying he does do that, though. Floyd does like to play the heel. I think that's kind of his gig. That's all.
Yeah. And by the way,
my Floyd was just he got boring. That's all. That dude was race. I didn't give a fuck what color.
And by the way, I've listened to the LDBC, although I stopped watching that shit because it's just annoying as fuck. But I used to watch it to, get some content. Anyways, the reason why some of them claim that they are there to like defend black boxers because they don't get their fair share in the sport, and that's the most ridiculous thing. What's that, BA?
Well, if black people don't stand up for black fighters, who will?
No, but okay, I understand. No, you support. I don't have a problem with African Americans supporting African American boxers. Actually, I encourage that. It's great. But my problem is when you're playing the victim. African American boxers are not victims. As a matter of fact, they get everything served on a silver platter. And we've seen multiple African American boxers get all the decisions. Floyd, look at Floyd. He had the referee on his side. He had the commission on his side. Does that sound like a victim to you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, Jimmy said that certain people are biased against Lomachenko because he said it because of his skin color. Now, if I call Jimmy, a victim, he'll be pissed off at me.
It's not a victim. It's not a victim thing. People hated him right off the rip, dude. And you go on Twitter, you look at that kid Hamanites, man. He sends them to me all the time. Anytime some absurd hype job bum never fought anybody, you go and you hit because in Twitter you can see exactly who retweets and likes it, and every single avatar it's a black dude.
But Jimmy,
is that just an anomaly?
This is exactly, but Jimmy, this goes beyond that. The LDBC claimed that black fighters, this is like we're back in the 1920s, whatever, 1910s, whatever, Jack Johnson and all that shit. We're not in that era. Black boxers are the most privileged boxers in the sport. That's a fact.
What do you mean by privilege?
They get whatever they want. They get promoted. They get paid a lot of money, even though they're boring. And the fights on.
Why don't you tell the truth, Bucho? Why are they promoted more? Is it maybe because they got more talent?
No. Thanks on pay-per-view. He shouldn't be on pay-per-view. It's not about. It's the talent. Come on, give me a break. It's about them being African American. They get prioritized.
That's what I'm talking about.
And these promoters, they see a black fighter and they think, oh yeah, black fighter. Oh, he's great.
Wait, so
they're overrated.
A business. You're telling me a business like Top Rank, forget talent, forget productivity. We're going to promote these guys because they're black. Is that what you're saying?
Not all of them. A lot of them, yes. Some of them, hold on. Let me finish. It's true. No. Let me finish.
The highest paid boxer called him a racist.
Who?
Bob paid Crawford more than any fucking fighter close to his division by a lot. And what was his thanks? He's racist.
And by the way, yeah, exactly. It's always the same shit.
I'm not going to defend that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. And by the way, you mentioned Top Rank, I think, or whatever. PBC. Let's look at the PBC. Tank Davis on pay-per-view. Why? Spence. He can do whatever he wants, right? Fight whoever he. They wanted to put him against Keith Thurman. They wanted to put him against Keith fucking Thurman. Can you believe that shit? That's black privilege. That's black privilege. It's full of black privilege. Can I say something? Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Shout out to Surse for his contribution super chat. He says, BDA, I'm starting a new Discord. No blacks allowed. Check your messages. Well, there you go. Now that's what the LDBC starting this new fad where people are going to be segregating themselves. Shout out to Soothsayer. But
he's a nut.
The channel. Here's what I was going to say. Send me the link to the channel, by the way, Soothsayer. But I was going to say this. Listen, when it comes to that whole victim thing, listen, at the end of the day, I don't complain too much about it because, I always thought you dust yourself off and you do what you got to do. Whether some things are more skewed for some people, whatever. But this whole thing, listen, Raybreed, I think you told us once that the reason why you hate Canelo was because some guy supposedly on a chat on YouTube called you, I forget which
no, that's not true. I didn't say that.
You said.
Yeah, you said. I remember that, man. Yeah.
I said.
And
I
we were
said.
laughing at it.
I said they were calling Floyd a mayate.
No, you said this.
Racist Mexican fans. That's why I don't like Canelo.
That's why you don't like Canelo.
You know that there's black Mexicans, right? And even they say that to other black people.
Yeah, and they face a lot of discrimination in Mexico. I know this.
That's
black
Mexicans.
Even the brown skinned Mexicans face discrimination over there. So let alone the black ones.
Hold on. So Canelo, regardless of what he's done, because somebody, in other words, if fans of a certain fighter say that, doesn't matter what the fighter does now from now on, you're gonna hate that fighter.
Well, I could make an argument. A lot of people didn't even necessarily hate Wilder; they didn't like his fans. So I mean, I guess you could say it's the same thing.
No. You can. Remember, you know damn well that Wilder, his comments.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, no, but you know what Wilder said. You know, this guy's out of his mind. That's why nobody liked him. And Floyd, well, he was boring as fuck. There's good reasons why a lot of us don't like certain boxers. Of course, you just see it through. You just look at skin color. And
but you don't notice a pattern. You guys have an issue with every single one. Tank Davis. Well, we know what your issues with that guy is. Devin Haney, he's boring. He's a clincher. Shakur Stevenson, he hits people in the balls. He hits women.
He's boring. He's boring.
You can keep going forever.
I gotta say something here. I very good reasons. Why do you disagree? I don't understand why you disagree with those reasons. I mean, hitting women and talking trash all the time. I mean, isn't that a good reason to root against somebody?
Well, because with the Shakur case, I don't think he hits women. Tank Davis, fair enough. But Shakur, that was an accident. I don't view that as him actually.
Just dismissing everything you say. And by the way, going back to what we said, what's Kovalev when he fought Andrew Ward? All right, Andrew Ward got the decision against a white guy. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around, according to the LDBC?
I'm really glad you brought the Andrew Ward situation. That should tell you all you need to know. You have people in this country rooting for a Russian against Andre Ward, and you can't make the excuse that he hits women or he's a bad guy or any of that type of shit. Why
you're ignoring what I just said. What I just said was the black guy got the decision. So where's exactly in the United States.
And that wasn't a robbery, by the way. There's no such thing as a robbery.
Oh my god! All right, that's it. You want to dismiss that?
There's no such thing as a robbery in a close fight.
African Americans they usually get the decisions. That guy, a black privilege.
Kovalev was exciting, right?
Somebody won, they won.
I mean, Kovalev going into that fight was he was a fan-friendly fighter. He was banging dudes out. You know what I mean? Like that's what people go to. You know, and Wood, the shit he pulled on the outside, the fucking going against Goosen, and trying to get himself out of a contract that he signed. He just moved fucked up, dude. He would only fight. He made everybody fucking come and fight in his backyard. He wouldn't fight another kid who wouldn't fight people with horsehair gloves. He had to control every facet of the fight. I mean, there's a lot of things about Ward.
Andre Ward is a hero for beating that Ruski.
You just said that people
lost to him in the first fight.
Russian over him, and I'm saying the LDBC was doing the exact same thing versus Canelo. They were going for the Russian. So what's your point?
Wait. Who was going for the Russian?
The LDBC community, and all the
against Canelo.
Yeah, they were going. They were going for Bivol. Over,
I don't know. I can't speak for those people. I can speak for myself.
Well, that's the black boxing community, dude. They were picking a Russian over Canelo.
I don't remember. Because that was a long time ago. I remember who picked who or what,
it
whatever.
was 50 years ago.
You're such a joke,
It
man.
wasn't anything to me, anyways.
All right.
Joke, man. Shut the fuck up, dude. Somebody get this guy off the fucking call, man.
This guy in the chat.
Stupid, man.
It's getting a little. Listen.
Getting his emotions. That's
You're
funny.
so fucking ridiculous. So it's just so next anything you say here after, I'm gonna just say it's your opinion. What you just said. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. What the fuck? You're such a clown, dude.
All right. Let's.
Hey, listen, I didn't see.
Yes.
I didn't see slavery, so it probably didn't happen either. I didn't see it. I wasn't there.
Yeah,
listen,
right.
I
didn't see
this whole.
I wasn't there for the Holocaust, you know? The Jewish people must be lying.
I mean, there are some people who believe that shit did happen. So I mean, it is what it is.
Floyd Mayweather. That's what I heard. Somebody brought up Floyd Mayweather, and it's always the same thing. Listen. There's a shitload of fights coming up. There's a shitload of better fighters who are taking on the best. That's what I was talking about in the Discord the other day. Inoue, Usyk, Beterbiev, Canelo. Those are guys that are fighting everybody or want to fight everybody. And we're still talking about some guy
they're more exciting than Floyd. And this is not even debatable. I mean, Floyd got booed when he fought that Argentinian guy, Baldomir. They booed the guy. When have they booed a Canelo fight? There's no answer for that. Referee's not going to be able to answer that.
The decision over Castillo?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, listen,
he was boring.
Give him a rematch and beat his ass.
And this is he was so boring. It's not even debatable. The fact that he was boring is not debatable. That's the problem that this fan.
No, that is debatable. That's your opinion.
Okay. So when people are booing you, what does that mean? When people are booing your ass, what does that mean? When people are booing you, people boo him. You can't say.
Can I just say one thing too, Bucho? 20,000 people had a class action lawsuit against Showtime in both fighters they want their money back because the fight was so boring. They were suing both the fighters and Showtime. That's how bad, and that was the most bought pay-per-view in history. That set the sport back. That fight, and I blame Pacquiao too, but both of them, they fucked the sport so hard. That fight was so boring.
By the way, Don Madrazos, you need to mute your mic, man. There's background noise. I'm talking to Don Madrazos, and I want to read a super chat here. Let's just go to the super chat. That guy says, Keith Thurman, a black privilege fight. Absolutely. That would have been a black privilege fight for Errol Spence Jr. This is what they get. This is. I mean, I cannot believe that people think that African American boxers are being exploited or something like this. This isn't that Jack Johnson days. Stop.
Top five money earners in the sport, all African Americans.
Exactly.
There's this clown in the chat saying that Canelo was running from Triple G.
Well, they fought 3 times.
Well, he did for 18 months. In the beginning, he dropped his belt and he waited 18 months to fight him when it was mandated. That did happen.
But that fight took place a year later, or something like that. He was still
a young dude.
He was De La Hoya.
Years old.
Yeah, but
Funny how Floyd aged out Pacquiao, but Canelo didn't age out Triple G, who was 36, by the way.
Some people say that he did a bit, but then again, hold on. But the thing,
middleweight then.
Yeah, and Triple G's career started late because he was with a shitty promoter in fucking Germany or some shit. So
nobody would pay him any attention because he was a white kid from Kazakhstan. Yeah. He couldn't get HBO. They literally had to fucking go on for free.
But tell you what, if Golovkin was black, African American, forget about it. This guy would have been a sensation.
If Golovkin was black, he'd be just another fighter.
From the age of 22, we would have seen all these African Americans. Oh, look at the power, Thomas Hearns or whatever.
That's not true. We have plenty of. There's so much talent in the black.
Exactly. No knockout artist. He would have been one of the knockout artists that the black African American community needs. That knockout artist. That is being actually,
we got plenty of those already.
That's why Tank Davis comes in and is like, "Oh my God, Tank Davis! We haven't seen that before." This guy has fucked up his career so bad.
Tank Davis, who doesn't fight anybody.
Yeah, exactly. He's the.
See, look, that's what I'm talking about. Bucho. So you say Floyd?
Tyson if he thought Tank reminded of him, he said no.
So Floyd is boring because he's defensive and he runs around the ring, according to you. But Tank Davis was
boring.
Let him finish.
So Floyd is boring because he's a defensive fighter first, and he runs around the ring. But Tank Davis, who's a come forward power puncher, you still got issues with him. So what's your real issue with these
what's
fighters?
my issue? What issue do I have? Hold on. Rarebit. No, break it down. Hold on. What's my issue with Tank Davis?
You seem to try to discredit everything he does.
What did I say? I asked a specific question. What did I say?
He's not a star. He's not a real contender for title belt.
I never said that. I never said
bro,
that.
he looked versus Barrios versus Cruz. He should have obliterated them. The fuck you talking about? He was losing.
He went up to 140 to fight Barrios. See the size difference between him and Barrios? Even Keith Thurman couldn't stop Barrios.
Yeah, I never said anything.
I'll give Davis credit for that win.
Yeah, Rarebit, I'm not criticizing
Rarebit.
Those are things that people. I mean, his record. Are you saying I can't criticize his record?
I'm just saying you seem to have way more smoke for Tank Davis than Ryan Garcia. He's got a worse record than
I've criticized
Tank.
both guys. I said that they're equal.
But he's younger than Tank.
Yeah, and I said it's a 50-50 fight. So there you go.
That is not. That's disrespectful to say it's a 50-50 fight.
No, well, that's according to you. MFB in the chat. Thank you for your contribution. He says, "Can you post the link?" Okay.
And I don't know how. How can you defend?
Hey, how is
Davis? I just don't understand that, man.
Having a catchweight and all the stipulations he's asking for.
He fought Pedraza, looked spectacular, looked like a little Mike Tyson. I was so fucking excited for that kid's career. And then he went on to fight one cab driver after another. He actually even complained about it. He knew he was getting fucked. And that's the reason why the kid never sold a lot of pay-per-views, because it was his competition. They were trying to move him like, oh, don't worry, we're going to make you a heel and everybody to hate you, and then we'll put you on pay-per-view. And then, they thought that was going to happen, and it wasn't a smart idea. But there's no way anybody can defend him. They call him a 3-division world champion when he's only won 2 belts in 1 division, and he lost one on the scales.
By the way,
he only has one real belt, Jimmy. He only had one real belt, and that was the IBF.
I won 30. That was
but he won a vacant WBA Super off Hugo Hughes.
Hey, and then that guy, that person who brought up the stipulations and the weight classes and all that stuff, I want Bucho to read the tweet that I just put in the Open Lines Discord.
All right, hold on. Before I
tell me that's not being hypocritical.
All right, hold on. Sursayer in the chat. Salute to the CCD, Puro Mexican Supremacy. Thank you for that juicy contribution, Sursayer. Shout out to you, man. And shout out to the CCD as well. All right, let me read that. Yeah, let me read the. Okay, continue talking while I take a snapshot of this shit.
But yeah, look.
Read a question.
Could you boost your volume a little bit?
I'll get closer. Can I ask Rare Breed a question?
Go ahead, man.
Yes.
Hey, Rare Breed, what's the racist word? The reason you hate Canelo? What's the racist word that you said they used on Floyd?
Amayate.
Do you know what a mayate is? Do you know what mayate means?
Isn't it like a black dung beetle or some shit like that?
No, it means a killer bee. It means a wasp, which black people continually call themselves. There's even a rap group called the Wu-Tang Clan that calls themselves the Killer Bees. And mayate isn't Spanish. It's it's Nahuatl. I speak that language. The word is actually mayatl, not mayate. Mayate is Mexican saying it. It's not a racist word. It just means black killer bee.
You could literally Google this shit and it says it's a derogatory term for African American.
Urban Dictionary.
So somebody's lying.
No one. I'm telling you as a speaker, that's what it means. It means a black killer bee. Black people took offense to it. Black people have taken offense to it. It's not a racial term.
Well, there you go.
It's not a racial term. So you're the dude that gets all emotional, that says Mexicans this, Mexicans that, white people this, white people that. The most racist people in the YouTube boxing community are African American blacks. They're so racist that African American blacks that they downplay and they defame blacks from the UK. They defame blacks from the West Indies. They defame blacks from South America, and they defame blacks from Africa. That's your YouTube boxing community, the LDBC. There's no way you can defend those guys. and you want to say that Mexicans have one channel, the CCD, that's in response to what the LDBC does.
Superb. Perfect. Amazing. Exactly. This is what we try to say, but Rebby doesn't get it.
I'll argue otherwise, but you know what? There's no point. It's like trying to convince a Republican that Democrat talking points or the other way around are correct. You're never going to convince these people. It is what it is. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe.
Okay. Let's take feelings out of it. What that kid stated, what he knows the language. He stated facts. Here's the facts.
Google this shit, Jimmy. Do it yourself.
Listen. The LDBC were around for years. Before the fucking CCP were around. That's got 11,000 followers. It is no disrespect to the channel, but it's a fucking zit on the amoeba's ass on the fucking LDBC. It is a full community with hundreds, actually millions when you add them all up, followers, and they push a racial division. Ask Coach Malachi. He says it all the time. He's one of the fastest growing boxing shows, and he says it all the time. He says, I got Mexicans on I got Mexican fans, I got fucking black fans, I got white fans on my channel.
Jimmy,
but the only ones who come at me racial, exactly. He said the only people who come at me about race is other blacks. He calls them
that might be because
blacks.
He keeps calling black people Wakandas and all kinds of
he called not black people. Not black people. He has nothing but mad respect for his people, like he said, and
I'm not sure.
He says the
He's
ones
talking
who come
about
at him,
the LDBC.
they call him coon. Yeah, he calls them the LDBC. He calls them
he's a pander
or the fucking a pander. Why he talks about black fighters?
Jimmy, how do you feel about white people who hate other white people that try to pander to minorities? How do you feel about those people?
What self-loathing liberals?
Yeah,
but they do it for political power. They do it, and actually,
different for you.
And then actually, they're more racist. Like Robin DiAngelo, who comes out and tells black people, you need to isolate from white people. But in her book, she's a self-admitted racist. So she's using, like Malcolm X said, the kind liberal. They're our worst enemies. They pretend to your friends, but they're the ones who want to hurt you the most. And it's a proven fact. Black people.
But Jimmy, you're changing the topic.
You're
changing the topic. You dislike self-loathing whites. Am I right?
No, I saw.
Jimmy.
Blacks.
Yeah, exactly. No, Jimmy. Just
so don't get mad when we don't like that shit either.
Let me say something. Hold on, Jimmy.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yep.
Rebrid, this is a boxing community. All right.
Okay.
So you're talking about societal issues, and you're bringing that into the sport of boxing, where
we're not even talking about boxing anymore. We're talking about race.
After people, work, they're tired. They want to have a good time. They want to watch a good boxing fight. They want to talk with other people about boxing. They don't want to hear this bullshit about blacks being exploited or whatever, mistreated in society. That's another issue that, whatever, it's an issue should be resolved, but it doesn't belong in the boxing sphere. This is what you don't understand. The LDBC is destroying the sport of boxing. This is supposed to be a boxing community. All right?
And Coach Malachi, like I said, my wife's black, all my fucking friends are black. He talks up his favorite fighters are black, but there's a certain group of LDBCers and he's very honest. Coach Malachi is honest. He goes, I was one of them. I was young and dumb and indoctrinated and thought I was a victim until all of a sudden I realized all I had to do was just put in a modicum of effort and fucking bang, doors opened up and it wasn't nothing. And then I really sat back. I'm like, wait a minute, who's robbing me? Who's calling me an end? Who's treating me like shit when I say something factual about a black boxer?
It's all like it's like Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. And he says if he says something factual about a Mexican, the Mexicans will come after him.
This is the same shit. The LDBC. Oh, we gotta unite, fight against an invisible enemy. I tell you, it's an invisible enemy in boxing. How can most boxing fans are only racist? There's so many African American boxers throughout history. How can you be a fan of a sport that has had so many African American champions? It's just ridiculous. You wouldn't even. If you're a racist, you wouldn't even.
Black people
you wouldn't even want to watch the sport. There's so many blacks. Like it's ridiculous. By the way, Surtsayer in the chat.
What's the biggest rivalry in boxing, Bucho?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me read the super chat.
Puerto Rican and Mexicans. That's for damn sure.
Let me check the Trinidad De La Hoya fight. Let me check here. Super chat. Sursayer, laying down, getting some head from my girl. All right, playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, Windows 98. What the fuck? Listening to my favorite show. Life is good. All right. Well, enjoy your Windows 98 game there. Thank you for the super chat, Sursayer. Appreciate it, man.
Can I ask Lord Breed something real quick? I just have a quick question for him about this whole thing. All right, so tell me, is there another community in the YTBC that is so massive that they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they constantly are on there talking down about other races, at the same time claiming victimhood? At the same time that they're doing this, they're claiming that they're the victims, and they have absolutely no evidence to show that they're victims, but they go around all day thinking that they're being victimized when they are not. Their boxers are not being victimized. It's just not true. Where do you get this idea? Where does it come from? Where's the evidence to back it up?
Remember when Dante Boxer Nation went after fucking Shakur Stevenson for actually throwing props to his Puerto Rican father? Made a video saying he's off code, he's insulting black people. Imagine, like, that was insane.
How can you justify that shit, man? How could you possibly justify a channel like that with that many followers? People are following this guy, and meanwhile, he's claiming that he's a victim. He's a victim, or his people are victims. I mean, make it make sense, man. Come on.
You would be surprised, but there's a lot of non-black people that follow that channel. There's no way he has that many subscribers, and it's just mostly black people.
I don't know.
And then he goes to fucking the Philippines and marries a Filipino girl. And then, like Coach Malachi says, it's rah, rah, rah. You know what I mean? Fucking so wasn't the other guy, although he's peeled back on it a little. But barbershop conversation, marries a Chinese girl. You know, he goes, it's all the black militants, and they all marry fucking girls who aren't even black.
Yeah, but it's like those Asian women that are always talking about white male patriarchy, but they're married to a white man. So I mean, it's kind of like that. So it is what it is.
It's hard to take someone serious as a black militant if you're going to turn around and marry a fucking non-black.
Hold on, you didn't answer Mike from Boston's question, I think.
Yeah, I was going to answer. I was about to answer his question.
Yes, go ahead.
So look, the like you just said it yourself, the LDBC is a huge community. So there are extremists in that community, but I feel like most of the people in the LDBC are like right in the middle. Like there's channels like the Mac Mob, who you, me, or anybody on here go on there and talk boxing. There are plenty of black content creators for boxing that even what's his name? I don't know if he can be considered LDBC, Showbiz the Adult.
But I would never.
Why? Nice. He's not LDBC, man. He's neutral.
The LDBC it's very clear who the LDBC and new media are. We know who they are.
Contender Boxing 1. You know who that guy is.
Nobody knows his channel.
LDBC.
Nobody knows his channel. You know, I'll tell you the channels everybody knows. 78 Sports. What's your Dante's Boxing? What's his name?
Kai is brutal.
Aki TV.
The dude looks like he's Egyptian. He's fucking, it's always the light-skinned brothers, dude.
Oh,
you're
talking
the most
about
militant.
Yeah, he's another one. It's Dante's Boxing, Blue Blood,
Alpha TV.
Yeah, but Rarely wants to skip the big channels.
Alpha's not even black. He's
rare,
a fucking
obscure channels. No, come on. Let's talk about the big ones.
He doesn't like Mexicans for whatever reason. That's something got to take
whatever. Let's talk about the big channels. Let's talk about the big ones. Rare Breed.
You're talking about like boxing ego?
The ones I just mentioned. Man.
Boxing ego, 78 Sports, Dante's Boxing Nation, I don't like shop conversations.
Why are they so big, Rare Breed?
I don't like trail boxing. I don't like that lady on there. She's annoying as fuck. She's retarded. I don't like 78 because I like dogs. Yeah, 78, he's just stupid.
So he's a dog.
So
okay, but what about what he says? What about the rest of the What about the rest of the content from 78 Sports? Do you agree with it?
No, although some things he says I agree with. Some things he's not wrong about everything.
Why are these channels so big?
I don't even listen to his channel.
Why are these channels so big, in your opinion? Because I'll give you
how big is 78 really? He's got what 50,000 subscribers. Do you consider that big?
70,000.
70 something thousand.
Well, look at Dante. Dante's got 200,000 subs, something like that.
What's the explanation?
Dante's boxing channel is a really old channel though, so he started a while back.
What's going on?
But his channel is 100%. his channel.
78 Sports got 86,000 now since because he started having Bill Haney on there, and every time they're on there, they're on the white Jesus.
Yeah, they talk shit about
not losing to a white boy
victims all day, and but they're the victims at the end of the day. It doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't add up.
And they have so many fans. I'm not surprised. They love hearing that stuff. They like that preaching.
Look, man, why is it only a black person has to answer for every wrong deed every black person does?
You're defending them.
It's a grown man. You should ask them these questions, not me. Like, if a white guy kills somebody tomorrow, do I have to ask Jimmy why did this shit happen?
Stop playing the victim and turning it around. You're trying to turn it around on us.
I'm not turning it around. I'm just telling you. You think I agree with everything just because they're black? I don't agree with everything they say.
Why do you think these channels are so big? You can't even answer that question. You're trying to turn it around. These channels I'll tell you why. I'll stop asking questions because they're rhetorical questions, I guess. These channels are so big because they love preaching these racial topics. Right, that they're victims. They like to tell their followers, "We're victims. We gotta stand together. Boxing is so racist. Black boxers don't get their fair share." It's all fucking lies. And you complain about the CCD, and you want to make us believe that the LDBC appeared because it was fighting against racism. It's nonsense.
They're the racist ones. Like at the end of the day, they are the black version of what you're talking about white people.
Yes, slave contracts. They'll say Bob's just a slave master.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
They have a whole series. Hey, what about the whole series? Buck breaking.
It's so funny. It's so funny. You're complaining about lynching pictures, but when the LDBCs has Anthony Joshua in chains in a plantation, that's fine. That's
right. Yeah.
It's pathetic. Buck breaking. That's a term of slavery when you would take a big, strong, mean slave if he was tough and you break him. It's a vile thing, right? And they have a whole series called Buck Breaking.
No, but exactly. They talk about that. But I remember those AJ pictures and the plantation and all that. That was all fun and games.
Guys, the shit they say about Bob fucking error, man. They they blister him.
Hey guys, what did Bernard Hopkins tell Calzaghe? He said, "I'll never lose to a white boy."
So it was a joke, all fun and games. Ignore that.
Okay. To be fair, like let's be honest. When we grew up on playgrounds,
we can't hear you, Campos. We can't hear you, Campos. You're too low. Your sound is way too low.
Yeah, very low, brother.
But when we grew up on playgrounds, everybody talking that. Let's be honest.
No, hold on. What did Haney say? "I'll never lose to a white boy" for Lomachenko. What did Wilder?
He did say that. All I know is if Devin Haney for saying that shit, he better not get his ass whooped because they're never gonna hear the end of it.
I agree.
What did Wilder do? He made it about race. So I could sit here and say that the most racist boxers are black African American boxers. Not African boxers, not black boxers from Africa, not black boxers from the UK, not black boxers from the West Indies, not black boxers from Latin America, black American boxers, the most racist boxers.
Excellent. That's what Wilder said about gypsies. He said they're all crooks. The largest ethnic minority in Europe. They're all crooks and thieves.
Yeah, it's no contest here. I mean, LDBC is just on another level. So how do we get to this?
Wilder only talked to certain because after he made that, see this? It's black privilege, white privilege, and white privilege is in boxing, and nobody can deny it. And so when he was asked, and he stormed out because they said, "You always talk about this racism in boxing. Can you give us an example?" And of course, if you don't see it, if you don't understand it, Google it. Is what he actually said. Oh my God.
Hey Jimmy, this all started because we were talking about Canelo, and we asked Rarebreed why he didn't like Canelo, and he mentioned his racist fans. We ended up talking about the LDBC and all that shit. No, but it's just funny. Is that even a reason not to like Canelo? some people said something
Well, I gave
race.
the reason, but you don't take those serious. So it is what it is. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe.
That's not how it works. I'm ready to debate my beliefs.
I am too, but I've already tried. You obviously don't agree with me, and I don't agree with you. So where do we stand?
Well, at least we had a discussion here.
Yeah.
But River, like this kid just called, and people are giving example after example after example. Now you go give the examples of that shit being said by other ethnic groups in boxing.
I can too.
Okay, name the boxers that said shit like that. Give the examples. Go.
Oh, you mean like non-black? No.
Yes.
Obviously not. But that's first of all, I don't even think what what's his name?
He wasn't that
Bernard
bad.
Hopkins.
No.
I don't think what he said was that egregious.
It was just a joke.
Like
that's what I said earlier. This is a joke.
His ethnicity.
I'll
never lose to a white boy. That's saying, I'll never lose to a white man. You think a white, like, my race is better, more dominant, tougher. That is about as racist as you can fucking get.
It's a Nazi.
Right?
It's a black Nazi.
Your whole fucking group of you are beneath me. That's what he's saying. Not that racist. Imagine if Lomachenko said that. No fucking black boy's gonna beat me. Holy shit! The WBC would pull their belt back and top right would have a press release tomorrow. We do not stand for this type of racism. They donate money to some fucking BLM cause. Give me a break. Black people can say what they want with impunity, and nobody says nothing.
What's funny is that African Americans they get they're the most privileged boxers right now, so it's ironic.
I want you to elaborate on that point, Bucho. What do you mean most privileged?
They get for the most part they will get decisions because they are Americans on top of it. It's not only because they're black; it's because they're American, right? So they're American boxers. And you have like Floyd Mayweather basically controlling the whole fucking commission, getting the referees he wants. Andre Ward always fighting in when he was in the World Boxing Super Series. He always fought in Oakland, California. He didn't have to travel. I'm trying to think about this. There's so many examples. They're A sides the whole fucking time. Errol Spence, again, he was going to fight Keith Thurman. Why would he get a fight on pay-per-view? He doesn't deserve to be on pay-per-view. Then you have Tank Davis fighting on pay-per-view as well. I think these promoters, they think that the African-American community is really involved in boxing, and they got it all wrong. They should be focusing on Mexican Americans. They're the biggest consumers of boxing.
The reason why they put their money behind, and no disrespect, the reason why they're putting their money behind these black fighters is because they're more talented. It's just the truth. There's more talent coming out of the black community right now in terms of boxers than the Mexican one.
As a matter of fact, the African American quality it's declining. Quality boxers are declining. That's a fact.
Give me a young Mexican fighter that should be promoted over Keyshawn Davis.
Give me who's dominating the light heavyweight division? Give me an African American boxer that's in the light heavyweight division.
It's not a Mexican, that's for damn sure.
Give me a name. Is it an African American? It's not, right? So my point is working. Super middleweight division.
Well, by that logic,
calm down. You're having a meltdown. Super middleweight division. African American boxer? None. There's so many divisions. There's so many super middleweight division. So there's a cruiserweight division. There's a lot of divisions where either there's no African American boxers, or it's contested between African American and somebody else that's not black. That's the reality, and that's a reality. This isn't the 1990s. This is the 1980s, and I've noticed that African American community in the sport of boxing, they've been having a meltdown, especially since the fall of the Soviet Union.
Redbreed, I like Keyshawn Davis, but I would say Bam is way better and has done more in a shorter amount of time.
Bam didn't look too hot his last fight.
Yeah, but it happens. We can say the same about Haney against Gamboa, stuff like that. I mean, of course, you gotta look at the overall fight. You're exaggerating that this African American boxers dominating the sport. Again, this is in the 1990s, man.
What about Virgil Ortiz?
I'm not even saying the whole sport. I'm saying of the young fighters coming up. There's more talent coming out of the black community.
The unproven ones. The unproven ones.
Guys like Abdullah Mason.
We'll see. They're unproven.
Keyshawn Davis.
You should be talking about the champions. You should be talking about champions, but you can't. So you're going to the lowest level, the lower level.
Well, if you want to do that, we can do that too.
That we haven't seen yet. That's it. You can't talk about champions.
Don't mention Carlos.
You cannot talk about champions.
Who has more undisputed champions than African Americans?
I don't know, but the thing is, there's not. It's not dominant. It's not an African American domination. So you gotta go with we have more up and coming boxers we haven't seen yet. Some of them are not even champions yet. Okay, so
well, I mean, if you want to go that route, there's more African Americans and more Americans on the pound list than any other group.
We'll see, because when they're in that level, they fall off a lot of times. Right, so we got to.
A lot of the time was poverty driven too. Like there was a time where there was great Jewish, Italian, Irish fighters. I mean, when there was poor people in Hell's Kitchen, and that's what's happening now with the black community. The reason why they're not as dominant is because they're more affluent now. They're not in the same level of poverty.
Yeah, I mean that's also part of the reason why. But even still, I don't like what Bucho is saying that they're promoting black fighters over Mexicans, and that's because they're black. Like that's the businesses don't work like that. Business don't care if you're yellow or green. If you can make money for them, they're gonna promote you.
I agree. But do you also agree that they make mistakes? You also agree that they make mistakes, right?
And but I think he's also referring to Mexican American kids too.
Hold on. I understand that a business has to be. They try to do the things the most efficient way to increase profits. The maximum. Okay, but we also agree that a lot of times they can make mistakes. And if you look at the state of boxing, it's in complete disarray. It's not where it used to be. So there's something going wrong. There's something wrong in the sport of boxing, and it could be that. They're promoting the wrong boxers.
Not really.
Yes,
not
it is.
Really.
No, the sport of boxing is in disarray, man.
This could potentially be the best year we've had in boxing in a long time.
Yeah, 1 year compared to how many years of no fights happening, shitty pay-per-views, and then you had you claim that it's all because black fighters. Okay, so you're.
I didn't know. I didn't say that. You're putting that words in my mouth. But I'm saying that moving forward, maybe it could become a pattern. Like, I don't think it's going to become an anomaly. Maybe now guys will start fighting each other.
I'm saying things are not done correctly in the sport of boxing.
Until they make it more accessible to people, they can't. Listen, you can get great football, basketball, baseball, ice hockey, which I'm an immense fan of. And it's free. And I know they're going to fight. Like when it comes ready for the Stanley Cup Finals, they're not going to say, all right, we'll play these games in about 3 years. See you then. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm not saying that's any one race. That's just the sport in general. Until they start doing things better and making it more accessible, this sport. Listen, there's a reason. Steve Kim, 3 years ago, I had to talk with him. He goes, nah, dude, I don't think I'll ever step away from boxing. That's just too much in my blood since the mid-'80s, bro. It's all I've known, all I've done. He's done with it. He's like, I'm over it, dude. This sport's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah,
for him to say that is huge.
But we have, the promoters to mainly blame for that because
I know he does. He absolutely does. He blames Bob right to his face. He got kind of heated a bit, but he doesn't want to go too hard at Bob because the man's in his eye. He's like, dude, I don't want to upset him because Bob can get fiery. But he was like, Bob, what are you doing? Like when he saw him last, he goes, I walked by him like, dude, what are you doing anyway? What the hell, bro? Like he was real upset about it. And he told him, he's like, man, you're not doing the right things. Man. You got to get that kid fighting. Nah, and then he kind of passed about Todd LaBeouf. I'm not really doing a day-to-day anymore, Stevie.
That's what it is. I mean, either these promoters are getting too old and should retire, or we have promoters that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like the PBC, they don't know what they're doing over there. And this is what's hurting the sport of boxing. The wrong fighters, and they happen to be African Americans, yes.
So okay. A better question is who should be promoted?
Fighters that are exciting, actually. And I'm not saying
black fighters are all boring.
No, of course not. Listen, come on. You have a very good African American boxers, of course, and they're not fighting the best because again, the promotional companies are garbage, the managers and all that. But there's some certain boxers that should be promoted more often. And by the way, look at Golovkin. Perfect example.
Munguia.
Munguia, he should be fighting also.
He's trash. He's like Jamal Charlo.
It's not like all Mexican
Jamal Charlo.
Exactly.
He hasn't fought nobody.
He's not. He's just exciting, I guess. But even it's not like Mexicans are talking.
Saying they promote that kid, the Vargas kid. They promote him. He's talented. Emiliano.
Unproven.
Yo,
But
guys,
yeah,
listen,
but
my
you-
wife just got home. I just want to say good night to everybody. Because my wife just got home. I haven't seen her all day, and so I just want to sit and talk with her for a bit. So,
Yeah.
all you guys be safe, all right? Thank you for having me on, Bucho. You
right.
guys all be safe, all right? God
Have a
bless,
good
man,
night,
guys.
Jimmy.
Thank you. Good night,
Take
guys.
care,
Save Jimmy. Peace, Jimmy.
All right. What time is it?
Listen, the promoters, they're not like the PBC could be a great promotion, but they don't put the right fights together. They don't fight each other. They got to be putting these fights, putting guys against each other. They're not doing that. And then you got like people like Chibi over there. Oh, we gotta let these fights marinate. Fuck that. Those two guys are ready to fight now.
Exactly. And by the way, my point about African American boxers, I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying because I know Rary is doing it already. It's not the only reason why the sport of boxing is doing terrible. But I do believe African American boxers they're not treated differently than other boxers in the sense that they're not victims. And this is what the LDBC wants to make you believe that African American boxers are victims, and they're not. I think it's the opposite again. That's what I'm trying to say.
The problem is there's not enough fights being fought, right? Like they used to have like fights on ESPN on Tuesdays and Fridays and shit like that. They're not having enough fights, and the best aren't fighting the best, and that's what's ruining the sport. And like I said, I never thought that I would see that the UFC became more popular than boxing. I never thought I'd see the day. And it basically has. It surpassed it.
You think so? I don't know, man.
Listen, Bucho, the UFC sold for $4.5 billion, right? You can't tell me any promotion, Top Rank wouldn't sell for $4.5 billion. They're lucky to get 10 to 15,000 people in the stands. The UFC is selling out 25,000 every night.
Yeah, but they have the material.
And look at the contract. Look at the contract what ESPN gave Top Rank and what they gave to the UFC. It's not even comparable. Listen, I like boxing better than the UFC. I'm just saying that boxing has done a terrible job of promoting the sport. And
I agree with that.
It's the promoters that have fucked that up. Like you had a great a great staff with Showtime when you had Paul Malignaggi, Al Bernstein, and Moro, right? That was a great boxing commentary team. And then fucking Espinoza fucks it up and fires Paul Malignaggi, who's probably the best commentator in boxing. Right? I mean, but like I said, the fighters aren't fighting each other. Like this fucking Spence and Crawford should have happened 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, it's a promotion.
It's fucking ridiculous, man.
And they don't fight often. I was gonna say Golovkin, remember fighting 3 times a year, knocking people out, and that guy could barely speak in English. Oh no, but because he's white or something. That's not the reason why he became popular, man. Mike Tyson was popular and he was black. If you knock out people, if you do it consistently,
there's a reason.
Fighter was Marvel
this is Americans. What are we talking about? All of a sudden, nobody likes black people. Like, come on, stop crying.
Bucha, you know what it is? It's in the American DNA. It's in the American DNA. This race bullshit. This is how they divide.
It's getting out of control, and these politicians. We're getting off topic here. We're getting off topic, but these politicians, they want to divide. They want to make it racial, so you vote for especially the Democrats. Oh, there's all these racists. Come to us. We'll save you. We'll save you. Vote for us. That's why they want to create this issue that shouldn't exist. I mean, there's racism, but
the other side does it too.
I agree.
The other side does it too, Bucho.
They're not as bad as the Democrats, dude. Not as bad as the Democrats.
Well, when you repeatedly, but when you repeatedly post videos of black people either attacking white people or Asian people, you're gonna have people believing that all black people are attacking Asian people or white people, and that can make you hate a group, and then that can make
I agree.
extremists. Wait, let me finish, and then you can respond to me. That can make an extremist, some kid in a cellar somewhere, gets angry and gets a gun and goes to a black church of innocent people and starts shooting it up.
What has BLM done? What has BLM done? It's done the same thing.
Bro, BLM doesn't represent all black people, so I don't know why you keep bringing them up.
So then why are you saying that about us? Then we're doing a part of that community.
You're saying all white people are
You're not white people. I'm pretty sure you're a Mexican.
Who gives you the right to say? Who gives a fuck? Who cares?
Crime is done.
I'm not talking about you, so you mind your fucking business.
You mind your fucking business.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? You're such a clown.
Rebby, he has a good point. Now it's the same thing. Now you're putting all white people on the same boat. I mean, there's a lot of white people that are actually on BLM.
I didn't
fucking
say
marches.
all white people. You motherfuckers can't listen. Like, you understand English?
Bro, listen to what you just said about your example about the black church thing. You just said that, dude. I didn't say that for you. I'm not speaking for you.
Yeah, exactly. Did you
This guy,
get it,
man.
Rebby? Come on. Stop acting like you don't understand.
Unbelievable, man.
You're putting all the whites on the same boat as well. You're doing the same thing. That's why I'm predicting
No, I'm
a civil
not.
war in the U.S. Right now,
Basically, anybody who's not a black, he's putting us under the table. Basically, anybody who's not a black, that's exactly what he's trying to. Oh, well, what happens if an extremist, like, bro, like I don't even. Anyways,
it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think this story has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. To be honest, look at all this racial division. Look at all this shit, man. Anyways, guys, we should end the show.
Dude, honestly, let me just say this. In the long run,
guys, thank you for joining the show. All right, great debate, great talk. We'll see you next time. All right, see ya.
All right, good night, buddy.
Take care. All right, everybody in the chat. I hope you enjoyed the show. Exciting fireworks, big drama show. We'll have another show, I guess, on Sunday. Post-fight show. Shakur Stevenson is fighting tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And shout out to everybody who donated. Appreciate it, guys. See ya. Good night.
I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical.